We are live in the building. What's going on, everybody? Elliot here from Movie Files, doing my very first ever live Q&A. Ask me anything. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while, and I'm doing it now. This is kind of in celebration of the most recent milestone that I crossed on my YouTube channel, which is celebrating the 3,000 subscribers, which can't thank you guys enough for the continued support. And, I'm looking forward to see what the future holds for this channel. But yeah, we're going to get this thing started here in about 5 minutes. Wait till some people get the alerts, the notifications. I'm going to send out some notifications myself just to let everyone know that we are live. Again, excited to be here. Really excited to answer these questions. I got some questions that were asked from me from Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and all that great stuff. So I will be answering you all's questions live. And then obviously for those that are tuning in, drop your questions into the live chat. Let's have some lively discussions about movie news, TV news, and all that fun stuff. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. I'm just sending out the notification for everyone right quick. So hold on, let me just send out the little alert to everybody. Let everyone know that we are live. But in the meantime, let me know how you guys are doing out there. Let me know what's your Saturday looking like today, and what movies, shows, all that fun stuff you guys have been watching recently. Let me know in the comments as I send out the alert right quick, and we'll get this thing started. Like I said, around 3:05, I'll go ahead and start taking some questions, answering the questions I got via my social media account. So we'll get this bad boy started in a little bit. So, but like I said, in the meantime, let me know what you guys are up to. How's your Saturday treating you so far? Let me just go ahead and send out the link. We are live. Alrighty, there it is. It has been sent. We're ready to get this started. Cool. Just pin that tweet, send out the little Twitter, and get it going. Alrighty. So what's going on, guys? Again, this is Saturday, 3:00. What you guys been watching? What you been up to? What shows are you guys binging right now? I know yesterday and actually today I did my review for Space Force on Netflix with Steve Carell and Greg Daniels teaming back up since The Office, one of my favorite shows of all time. And obviously Greg Daniels is, the creator of The Office, the US version of The Office, Parks and Rec, and so many great different things to his name. So I watched that yesterday and did my review this morning. And then for my Apple TV Plus fans out there, we had our finale for Defending Jacob, which crazy. I did my finale review for that. And also I did a video today kind of doing the differences between the book and the novel, or the book and the series. So I'll be putting out that video tomorrow. And then I have a watch along tomorrow, doing a watch along for the finale with you all. So a lot of fun stuff last few days, but been watching Euphoria because HBO Max just came out, which has been a very fun experience and a new platform, on top of Netflix and Disney Plus and all the other streaming services I have. It's nice to know you have some other options out there, right? And I'm enjoying the library, the extensive library that HBO Max has. So very excited to see what the original content has. I actually did a review for what was that show called? Love Life with Anna Kendrick. So I did that. So definitely check that out. My review, and then also did like a brief kind of review, first impressions of the app. So check out that video as well. So we got some people in the chat. What's going on, everybody? Let me pull up some of the comments here. What's going on, everybody? What's going on? Welcome. Cryptic Monster, how you doing? I'm doing good. That's good to hear, my friend. Jay Cooper just watched Space Launch. Awesome. Some space stuff going on. A lot of space conversations going on the last few weeks. I haven't been watching any movies, but I've been playing the new game Maneater. Is that for a PS4 game, Xbox, PC game? I'm not too familiar with that. Let me know what that's all about. And then we got Film Explorer, Apple TV Plus. I started watching Servant. Yeah, Servant's a really good show, man. I actually watched that back in, was that November, December-ish when that show dropped, and I did a review. I did a weekly review for that show. Very, very intriguing, interesting show with M. Night and everyone involved there, Toby Kebbell and all that. It's a really, really interesting show, man. I know some people had some good things, me being one of them. I really enjoyed that show, if I'm being honest with you all, but I know some people weren't a fan of how the things kind of ended. But there is a season 2, so I'll just leave it at that. I'll let you enjoy the experience, and then also check out my reviews for the show. We got Perk. What's going on, man? How you doing today, man? I'm sorry I wasn't able to join your stream the other night. I was binging a bunch of stuff, Space Force, the HBO Max, movie reviews as I do here. So sorry I wasn't able to tune in, but I look forward to your next live stream, because I definitely want to see what you are talking about, my friend. But I appreciate you being on. Thank you. We got Connor. What's going on, Connor? Thanks for the 3,000 subscribers. Yeah, hey yo, congrats on 3,000. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Connor, we got to get you on this channel one day, man. I know you're kind of displaced from your normal setup. I remember what you told me, but I would love to get you on here, man, and talk some movies with you, because we've been Instagram buddies for a while now, and he supports my content a lot on Instagram, and I do the same for him. So really good friend of mine, Connor, there. So I hope you're doing well, man, and appreciate it. And I got your question here. I will be bringing up your question you posed for me on my Instagram, so I appreciate you, Connor. What's going on, Ty? Cool space launch. Where are they going to go to? I'm not sure. I'm not a big space guy, which was, when it comes to space movies and shows, I'm not the biggest fan, but there are some space stuff content I like like I said, I just reviewed Space Force, and I watched I've seen all the big space movies, whether it be Apollo 13 or most recently The First Man, but I don't really gravitate towards that stuff. But yeah, where are they headed? Are they going to a moon? Or they discover another planet? It's a PC, PS4, Xbox. It's where you can play as a shark. Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna have to man, I haven't been gaming in so long. It's been a while. I used to be like, when I mean gamer, I used to be a big gamer, whether it be Call of Duty. I'm a big sports fan, so NBA 2K, Madden, of course. Like I used to be like hardcore gamer, Uncharted, God of War, you name it. But it's been like 5 or 6 years since I picked up a controller and actually played. But I want to get back into it, especially, not knowing where things are going to get back to normal. But yeah, that's cool, man. I'm going to have to see what that's all about, man. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. Connor says, first American soil launched the USS or the ISS in a long time. As an astronaut, I watched it. Yeah, as a astronaut. Okay, I'm gonna have to look into it, see what it's about. Again, I'm not a big space person, but that's awesome. It's one first step for mankind. Thank you. I appreciate it for sure. We'll do for sure. Yeah, check out let me know what you thought about Servant, because I enjoyed it. Like I said, I know some people weren't a fan and not fans of M. Night and kind of how he leaves things unanswered potentially, but I know this show does have a season 2. Hopefully we get it by the end of this year, but I enjoyed Servant and what the show had to offer. All good, home. Yeah, no, partly like I said, I have a good time tuning into your live streams when I get a chance to, man. So I'll definitely tune in next time. But I appreciate you stopping by, man. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions for me, Perk, in regards to any TV shows, movies, and all that fun stuff, man. Jay Cooper, someday that 3,000 will seem tiny to you. Nah, man, this 3,000 is I take that. I really appreciate it, man. It's something that I don't take for granted, because there's so many great content creators out there. I mean, we got some great content creators in the chat now, but 3,000 to me is huge, and it's something that looked impossible for me at the time when I first started. But I appreciate all the support, and yeah, man, I'm excited to see where this channel goes. But thank you, man. Thank you. Connor says, I know I can't wait to get back home and get on the channel for sure, Connor. We got to get you on, my friend. You watching a lot of HBO Max apart from... Yeah, so HBO Max, Euphoria. I'm in the middle of watching that for the second go around. I love Euphoria. That show is just, I don't know. I know it's not for everyone, but I really enjoy that show. So I'm watching Euphoria, rewatching it for the second time. I'm watching... obviously Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like Perk said, I wish that Martin was on there, but I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I will eventually, this is something a lot of people might not know, but I've never, besides the first Harry Potter, that's the only Harry Potter film I've seen. So I'm going to eventually sit down and watch those. But yeah, I'm just at all. I don't know what to watch right now, except for the stuff I'm familiar with. But I did watch like I said, the Anna Kendrick show, the Love Life. The first 3 episodes premiered on Wednesday. And yeah, you can check out my review for that. But yeah, HBO Max is pretty cool. I can't wait to see more original content on that platform, but I'm enjoying it so far. Very user friendly, and the library is like crazy. Like I said, I don't know. I'm finding myself watching stuff I've already seen versus stuff that I need to explore for the first time. So yeah. Anything new about season 2? Yeah, no, everything. So all the Apple launch shows Sea, Servant, The Morning Show, Dickinson. I don't know much about that one show, the space show. I can't even think of the name of it right now. Where they like, what if another country landed on the moon before America? I can't think of the name of it, but I know mostly all of those shows did get greenlit for season 2 before the season 1 even begins. So season 2 will be out probably beginning of next year, I would imagine, because it is a big production. But yeah, I really like C. I know a lot of people weren't talking about it. I was like one of the few, at least from what I saw online, I was like one of the few people reviewing each episode every week. But C is a really good show. It does have its cliche moments, and some of the story isn't as strong in the script and the dialogue, but I really enjoyed that show. And Jason Momoa, man, he was Baba Voss was a beast in that show. Like, if you guys have Apple TV Plus, and if you're kind of on the fence about C, because it took. This is something I've always been going by as far as like, for me, I am either in on a show or out of a show based on the first 3 episodes. In the first 2 episodes of C weren't all that strong, but by episode 3, I'm like, once you see the show, you know what I'm talking about. It is brutal, like insanely brutal. And it's like some raid type level action in regards to the brutality of Baba Voss, and that's the character that Jason Momoa plays. But definitely check that out, guys. It's a really interesting show, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do with season 2 of C. Really good show. But Perk says, are you ready for the final season? Man, so we talked about a Perk on our devs watch along, man. That's another thing about HBO Max. I got to see what's out there with that anime, man. When I grew up, I used to watch, I popped in and out of Dragon Ball Z and shows like that, but I never really like stuck onto it. So I'm going to definitely explore that, man. I've been hearing some great things about Attack on Titan. I've never seen an episode, but I'm going to have to check it out, man. But people are psyched about the final season. So I'm going to have to check that out, and The Last Airbender, and what else is out there that I've heard about, Last Airbender and all that stuff. I'm going to have to get into it. Speaking of games, are you looking forward to The Last of Us 2? So, man, is that a loaded question? In regards to The Last of Us, one of my favorite, if not my favorite game of all time. I'm not a big like repurchaser. Like, once I buy a thing once, I'm good, set to go. But when I got it on, it was a PS3 first, and then they had like a remaster version on PS4. I bought the remaster version and beat it. I beat it like 4 or 5 times. Joel and Ellie, I love that story. And we all know everything about what's going on. Well, what went on a couple weeks ago with how the company treated the employers and the employees, and obviously the stuff about Ellie and Joel, and I can't think of the new character that you're gonna have to play. But when all that stuff went down, by the way, and kudos to all those that had content around this controversy around that stuff. But to me, it's just like, guys, you can have your opinion about it, but I'm not someone that bases my opinion on something I haven't seen yet nor played. Of course, there's the snippets and the gameplay, but to answer your question, I am looking forward to it. Like I had mentioned a couple minutes ago, I haven't played a video game in a while, but there are certain games that gets me excited. That's one of them. If they announce another Uncharted, if they announce another God of War, that's what's going to probably get me back into the gaming, because those are some games I love playing. But we'll see in regards to if I'm going to actually pick it up, because like I said, it's been like 4 or 5 years since I played like actual got into gaming. It's all For All Mankind. That's what the name of the show. Yeah, I reviewed the first 3 episodes. I just couldn't get into it. Again, it kind of plays into, I'm not a big space person. Like, I love, the idea of space and getting lost in space, like Interstellar, one of my favorite films of all time, which happens to take place in space. But yeah, that show, I don't know. It just didn't really work for me. I couldn't gravitate towards the characters. I thought the development was kind of underwritten. You think that Air Cut talk will lead to HBO Max deal like the Snyder Cut? Kind of, that's funny, man. I was kind of looking through my phone before I went on live, and apparently there's rumors out there that David Ayer has been talking to WB, and the idea of him having an Air Cut is a possibility. And I'm one of those people, guys, is like, I get everyone's kind of pushback, if you want to call it that, on the Snyder Cut. And it's just like, for me, if you don't want to watch it, if you don't like it, don't watch it, But for me, it's just like, yeah, why not? Let me see a David Ayer cut. I'm excited for the Snyder Cut. It's just like, I would like to know what the director, what their intention was. Now, obviously, David Ayer is a completely different situation than the Snyder situation. But in regards to, he was the director. Obviously, if you guys are familiar with the whole situation, the trailer company got a hold of the cut, and they were the ones that kind of edited. They took out they wanted to make it more lighter, a little bit more Marvel type of vibes. But most recently, David Ayer said on Twitter that his vision was to make it a what did he call it, a soulless or a soul drama conflict with the characters. So to answer your question, Connor, yeah, I'm down for it, man. Again, I'm not the biggest Suicide Squad fan. It's funny because when I saw Suicide Squad for the first time, I had my I had my fandom. I was just like, yeah, that was good. Was it? But then as I kept watching the film, it's just like, yes, you can, it's blatant that it was edited, chopped down, cut. Not as bad as kind of the Justice League situation, because there was just one director, even though someone else kind of edited his film. But, I'm looking forward to see if that's something that happens in regards to the Ayer cut. And see what this means for the industry in regards to director cuts and fandom and the influence on fandom. But like I said, to answer your question, I would be up to see an Ayer cut, to see more of what Jared Leto had to offer. Even though I have the extended cut of the film, his R-rated version of it, which added a couple more scenes. But I would like to see, the Enchantress was supposed to be connected to Steppenwolf and the Mother Box and all that stuff. I would be interested in that. And Katana, see her story. What is your favorite TV show right now? I'll have to go with Defending Jacob, even though it just ended. I love that show. Well, I guess I'll say for currently on TV, I Know This Much Is True, the Mark Ruffalo story where he's playing twins, and it's a tough show to watch. It deals with mental health, which I am an advocate of, talking about mental health more so than what we do. But that show is great. I really recommend you all. Again, it's not a happy-go-lucky, happy story. It's a very sad, heavy show, but I would definitely recommend you guys give that show a watch. It's on HBO. Again, it's titled I Know This Much Is True. It's about Mark Ruffalo. He's playing Dominic and Thomas. They're twin brothers, identical brothers, and Thomas suffers from he's a schizophrenic, and it shows you kind of what he goes through, but it shows you how that affects their family. It's a really good show. But in regards to just most recently when I finished, Defending Jacob was incredible. I can't recommend that show enough, guys. Chris Evans, Michelle D'Offrey, Jaden Martell. That show was fantastic, guys, and I got a lot of content for that show on my channel. In regards to, I did a prediction video to who's the killer on Defending Jacob. I obviously did a review which was 30 minutes long for my finale. I just shot a review today, going over the differences between how the book ended the story and how the show ended, and comparing the two and which one I preferred. And I'm going to be doing a watch along tomorrow. So any of you all that's been watching Defending Jacob, I'm going to be doing a watch along 5 p.m. Central Time tomorrow on my channel, the 31st. And we're going to be watching it together. I'm going to break it all down with you all, interact with you all. So Defending Jacob was fantastic. We have here, what's going on? How you doing? Hey, Elliot. What do you think of Game of Thrones finale? I know it was a while back. Game of Thrones finale. So I did, speaking of reviews, I for the first time on my channel when that show premiered or had its finale last year, that was my first time reviewing it on my channel since I had a channel. And it was a while back, but I wasn't, there was definitely some flaws. It was rushed. Some storylines didn't play out the way I would have liked to have seen it play out. Some of the characters, didn't have the arc that I would have liked to have seen them in. But, I'm not one of those people where it's just like, I don't forget the great stuff. There was 7 other, or for some people, 5 seasons of greatness. But for me, I don't forget the great stuff that came before the finale. And even in this last season, the fight, I can't think of the name of the episode, but I'm Jon Snow and Khaleesi and all those great characters. It's unfortunate that it kind of ended the way it did on a sour note. But like I said, I'm not one of those people that I'm not one of those like, well, what have you done for me lately? I remember the greatness of Game of Thrones. It's still one of my favorite shows of all time. But I definitely see the flaws and can agree with a lot of people that have some flaws with the finale, like I did as well. So like I said, check out my review that I did for Game of Thrones, especially that finale. Great choices. And oh my goodness, Nisa Smith, I can't thank you enough. I just saw the donation, $25. Thank you so much. As you guys can see on my the little banner down below, I do have super chat. So if you guys want to donate, we greatly appreciate it. You don't have to. You can just give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. But I also have a Streamlabs. So it's Streamlabs/movie file. So if you guys want to donate, it goes directly to this channel for content, for equipment, for buying new Blu-rays, to do giveaways, getting new equipment. So Thank you so much. It means so much. Again, you guys don't have to donate, but if you guys want to, I would appreciate it. But thank you so much for that donation. That means so much to me. It helps the channel out a lot, and I really appreciate that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for that donation so much. Really appreciate it. Jay Cooper says, "Oh wow, I'm going to have to check out Infinity." Yeah, I recommend it. I recommend it, my friend. And when you watch it, check out my reviews and let me know what you thought about it. So wrapping up a couple of these questions here, that I'm going to dive into the questions you guys sent me on Instagram. And again, I can't thank you enough for the donation. That means so much to me. Again, just to harp back on that, it means a lot, right? Because this channel is all based on you guys and the community I'm trying to build. So thank you so much for that donation. Like I said, guys, if you don't have the donations or have the funds to donate to the channel, completely understand, but make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe and check out my content. But thank you so much for the donation. Again, I can't thank you enough. Jeffrey says, are you going to review Apple TV Central Park? I saw the trailer really didn't hit me. Again, I'm a fan for good storytelling, and just the trailer didn't really hook me. I'm gonna have to. I might check it out. Is it all bingeable on Apple TV Plus Central Park, or is it week to week? I might see what it's about. But speaking of animation, I don't know if you guys saw The Midnight Gospel on Netflix. That was a really good animated show that I quite enjoyed. But I'll see what Central Park's about, because I've reviewed like 90% of the Apple TV stuff, Apple TV Plus content. So GOT was rushed. That's true. That's funny, right? That they kind of rushed their project and thinking they were going to be the next kind of big things in Star Wars, and that kind of fell apart. But they have their deal with Netflix, so we'll see what goes there. But yeah, it was definitely rushed. I can definitely admit to that. Perk says The Leftovers is HBO's best series. Perk, we're right here, man. I definitely agree with you. Now, granted, I haven't seen Sopranos. I know it's a hot take. I haven't finished The Wire, which I love The Wire from what I saw. Obviously, Game of Thrones is on there, and there's a lot of other great original shows on the platform. But The Leftovers, for me, guys, those 3 seasons, Damien Lindelof, fantastic. I could not talk about depressing, interesting shows. That show was fantastic. I love, you know what, Perk, you just got me thinking. Like I said, I've been rewatching Euphoria. I'm gonna have to watch some more Leftovers, man. That was one of the most satisfying ending. We were talking about the finale of Game of Thrones, but the finale of Leftovers, fantastic. Man, Justin Thoreau. Who else was in that show? Regina King was in season 2 of season 3. And then Liz Taylor. I mean, that show was, man, such a fantastic show. And then I can't think of the actress name who was like incredible. I'm gonna have to look her up, because I loved her in that show. It was the actress who had lost her family, and I don't want to spoil the show for people, but what was her name? Because I want to give her a quick shout out, because I loved her in that show and love her as an actress. What is it? Carrie Coon. Yeah, Carrie Coon was fantastic in that show. Freaking loved her. But yeah, can't agree with you more, Perk. That show is incredible. So yeah, let me get into these questions here, guys, and I'm gonna obviously react to you guys' comments. Again, if you guys want, you could donate to the channel via super chats or streamlabs.com/movie files. But even if you don't have the donation, that is perfectly fine. Give the video a thumbs up, really helps out the channel, and I also really appreciate it. So I'm going to get into these questions you guys have sent me. So what I'm going to probably do is switch off between answering some questions I got via Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and then head over to you guys' question on the live chat. And we're just going to kind of do it that way and have some fun times, guys, on this Saturday afternoon. So let me pull it up here. Starting off with, this is from Instagram, Movie Madness. He says, someone told me that the director of a film knows way more about directing than what the audience does. Thus, we can't judge the directing of the film because the director simply knows better. Well, I thought that was dumb, but I still wanted to hear your thoughts on that. So hold on, let me go back. So someone told me that the director of a film knows way more about directing than what the audience does. Thus, we can't judge the directing of a film because the director simply knows better. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I mean, a director, a writer, they obviously probably are more attached to the project. They kind of maybe know more of the innuendos and certain themes and topics and storylines and arcs, and maybe it wasn't displayed well for the audience. So we kind of might, we criticize films for maybe not having a certain direction. But I wouldn't say that the director, just because the director directed it, doesn't mean that they, are, knows way more about directing. Yeah, I mean, that's their craft, right? But I'm trying to think of a metaphor. I mean, a NASCAR racer doesn't necessarily mean that they're the best driver in the world, right? So, I mean, there's definitely some opinions to be had about films and criticisms and all that different stuff. And, when I criticize a film or critique a film, whatever the case may be, I might say, I wish the director would have took the story this way or took this character that way. And that's perfectly fine. I don't think, I haven't heard of a director. I mean, I know there's probably been directors out there that said, oh, I know more about film than the audience, so my opinion is right versus theirs is wrong. I know that's to be true. But, I think there's also directors that take in the criticism and say, yeah, you know what, I wish that if things were differently, I would have took the story a different route or presented the character in a different light. So, but really good question, Movie Madness, in regards to does the director know better? Does it know better than the audience? Since they're the directors, they know everything. But I don't think that's the case. But I appreciate the question there. So, some more questions that were sent in, and again, I'm going to be switching off between the live chat and the questions I got here. So I'm going to go over a couple of these questions I got via Instagram, and then pop back to the chat again. For everyone that's tuning in, thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you want, you can donate to the show via super chats or streamlabs.com/movie files. But again, if you don't have to donate at all, but just give this video a thumbs up, it goes a long way, and I really appreciate it. So we have Horror Mania, someone that I haven't had on my channel. What was it, last week? We did a Shining watch along. It was her, Mr. Death Breath, Perk. We had Q Reviews. We had David from Flicks Talk. So it was such an honor to have her and every one of my guests on my channel last week for the watch along. So she sent me a question, and of course, it'll be a horror question from the Horror Mania. She says, what do you consider the best era for horror? That is a really great question. And by the way, I didn't prep these questions. I wanted to make it as raw and authentic for you guys. So I'm reading these questions for the first time. So what do you consider the best era for horror? That's a great question. So I'm a 90s kid. I grew up, 1990 was my birth date. So during that time, there was the slashers, obviously Wes Craven's Scream. And obviously we got, I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend, and all those slasher films became a little bit more dominant in the 90s. But if I were to go back, I would say, the 90s is a great year, Candyman, all that good stuff. And many different sequels to Child's Play and like I said, Scream. But for me, I have to, it's either between, and of course I appreciate the classics, the Universal Monster era, Alfred Hitchcock, and, Psycho, and obviously transition into the 70s, you get, which is my favorite horror film of all time, 1978's Halloween by John Carpenter. And then you obviously have Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So the 70s was pretty groundbreaking in regards to setting the tone and setting the slasher era, but also the 80s. You can't forget about the 80s. You got your classic Jasons and Friday the 13th and Freddy, and so many great classics in the 80s that came out. And like I said, Child's Play came out in the 80s, and all the great iconic characters, what was that, the 90s for Pinhead and Hellraiser. But yeah, I have to go with either probably the 70s or the 80s are probably two of the more, in my opinion, two of the best eras of horror. But great question there. So, and thank you, Horror Mania. I appreciate you sending in that question. We have Ron_Smith, who's another person that was on my channel. He was a part of my watch along for Infinity War and has a lot of great content. So definitely give him a subscribe and follow him, as well as Horror Mania on Instagram. But Ron asks, do you think it's a good idea for consumers to return to theaters for Tenet in July? So that's a great question, Ron. To be honest with you, man, I don't think it is. I mean, we're obviously less than 2 months away from Tenet's initial release date, which was July 17th, but I don't think it's a good idea right now. I'll just speak for me personally. I'm not going to be in the theaters no time soon, especially come July. It's going to probably be a couple more months before I feel comfortable going back to the theaters. But obviously that also goes into, what kind of safety precautions the theaters are taking and all that good stuff. But to answer your question, Ron, I don't think it's a good idea for not only the consumers to go back to return to theaters that soon, but for Warner Brothers and Christopher Nolan and Tenet, I don't think it's a good idea, because obviously there's going to be people like me that I love the cinematic experience, but I don't feel comfortable going to the theater. So why would you risk the chance financially to have half your audience see your movie and the other half be kind of scared and wait till it comes out on VOD? So to answer your question, Ron, I don't think it's a good idea to kind of rush it back in theaters as soon. I actually think that Tenet should be pushed back to sometime maybe in November or December, and maybe even, which saddens me to say, to push back my most anticipated film this year, which is Dune, but push it, maybe Tenet takes Dune's spot and see what they can do there. But great question, Ron. I appreciate you sending that in. I'm going to head over to the chat, see what you guys are talking about. Make sure I don't get too far off to what you guys are saying in the chat. Again, thank you all for tuning in to my very first live Ask Me Anything Q&A movie and TV edition. Ty says, are you going to do any theory videos? Theory videos for what are we talking about, Ty? Is it pertaining to defending Jacob? Because if so, I did do a prediction video to who I thought was the killer prior to the finale. Not being a book reader, it was a theory video I did, and then just today I shot my video for pointing out the differences between how the book ended and how the series ended, and which version of the story I preferred. So if that's what you're referring to, Ty, if it's something else, let me know, and I'll definitely answer that. I got into Game of Thrones in the last season. That's interesting, Ty. Let me know how that experience was for you in regards to maybe not being as familiar with the story and the characters and jumping right into the last season. Let me know how that experience was for you, my friend. Is Westworld good? Man, I gave Westworld a shot. And I enjoyed it. It was one of those shows that I was enjoying when I watched it, but for whatever reason, I just didn't keep up with it. I think of that show, and I also think of Better Call Saul, which Breaking Bad is one of my favorite shows of all time. And the stuff, I watched the first season of Better Call Saul. I don't know why I haven't went back to the second season. I heard that some people are saying that Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad, which is crazy to me to think of, but I've heard it's really good. And the first season was fantastic. But to answer your question, I watched like the first 3 or 4 episodes of Westworld and thought it was really intriguing. I actually saw the film, not when it came out, but I saw it for a couple years ago on Blu-ray. But from what I saw, it was good. I know some people are kind of hit or miss with the last season. I don't know. Obviously, I'm 2 seasons behind, but from what I saw, it was good. And I know some people really stand by that show. Geeky Goods, what's going on, man? Leo, how you doing, man? I appreciate you stopping by, my friend. What's going on, man? Can't stay, but stopping by to say, hey, I appreciate that. You all give Leo a subscribe. Check out his content. He has a really great YouTube channel and does a lot of live streams and has a lot of great discussions on his channel. So definitely check him out. Perk said also, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this, Perk has a great YouTube channel as well, guys. So give him a subscribe and check him out. Yeah, Carrie Coon was her name from Leftovers. What about the finale in Clone Wars? I have not seen Clone Wars, nor have I seen Rebels. I'm a big Star Wars fan regarding the films, but I haven't dove into the animation side, so I'm gonna have to do that one of these days. Do you watch Rent? No, I do not. That's that show. Is that on Showtime? And I think Mahershala Ali is in it, and I heard some good things about that. I think season 2 is coming out. I'm gonna have to give that a shot if that's the show that I'm thinking of. In regards to Nancy, if that's the show that I'm thinking of, Mahershala Ali, and it's on Showtime, let me know if I'm correct on that. Robert Jeter says, what do you think about the ending of Defending Jacob? Robert, that's a great question, man. I hate to give you the little tease here, but check out my finale review, my friend. It was a 30-minute in-depth breakdown of the finale. And like I said, tomorrow, if you can join in, Robert, I'm going to be doing a live stream watch along for the finale and kind of get more in depth on what I thought about it and obviously get you guys' opinion on it. But just to answer your question, I liked it, man. If I'm to be frank, to be honest with you, I liked it. I'm around. I appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it so much. Will you watch Artemis Fowl? Yeah, I'm going to check it out. What is that, June 12th? I wouldn't have seen it to answer. Well, I wouldn't have went to the theaters to see it if I'm being 100% honest with you, but with it being on Disney Plus and I have the platform, I'm gonna definitely check it out and review it and give you guys my thoughts on it. I feel like theaters are such tight spaces. I personally won't go to the theater yet either. Yeah, I agree with you, Jay Cooper. Robert says, was the killer technically revealed in Defending Jacob? Technically, not like in the sense of this is the person that did it in a way, but for me, there was enough subtext and enough kind of like hinting and Easter eggs and breadcrumbs that kind of, in my opinion, gave us a somewhat of a definitive answer. And then also, like I said, I have a video coming out tomorrow talking about the differences between how the book answered that question and how the series answered it. So, but I would say technically it's not like I don't want to give too much away for those that haven't seen Defending Jacob, but and I don't want to spoil anything. So I'll just say yes and no for that question. So on to the next question we have. Do you think that Watchmen will get a season 2? That's a great question. Watchmen was one of the most interesting shows I've seen ever. I'm a fan of the graphic novel. I'm a fan of the Zack Snyder movie, and I absolutely love the TV series. Damon Lindelof is so fantastic, and all the creators and writers and directors of that show, the acting, Regina King, from everyone in that show was so fantastic. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. The list goes on and on about all those fantastic characters and everything that they did with the show was so great. But to answer your question, no, I don't think it'll be a season 2. I think Damien has come out and said that they don't plan on doing a season 2. Regina King says he doesn't see them doing a season 2, but that show is very, very popular. And we all know studios, HBO, they love content. So, personally, if someone else would have joined in, I wouldn't be happy about that, but I will be watching it. That's for damn sure. But to answer your question, I don't think it will be a season 2, and I'm okay with that, even though I would love to explore how they ended the show and see that route and see what that world looks like with that particular person, with those particular set of skills. But I was pretty satisfied with the ending. And I'm very excited to buy that Blu-ray. That Steelbook looks so great. It's coming out in June, but I don't think we need a season 2. And I'll be okay if we don't get one. I stand Westworld. Yeah, like I said, I couldn't really get into it, but I might revisit it because I know some people really stand behind it. I love a good sci-fi. Movie blurb. Sean, what's going on, man? I appreciate you stopping by. Sean is on Instagram. Follow him on Instagram. Check out his content. He has a lot of great content on his Instagram page. Just here to show some love. Congrats on the first live stream. Appreciate it. This isn't the first live stream. This is my first Q&A live stream. I've done a bunch of like watch-alongs and on this channel, but I appreciate you stopping by, Sean. I appreciate the support, my friend. Just hoping to bring back drive-ins. Yes, they had one about an hour away from where he is in New York. Yeah, man, drive-ins need to be brought back. When I lived in Chicago, I used to go to a drive-in. I lived like kind of when I was in high school, the suburbs of Chicago. Aurora had a drive-in, and I used to go there every so often. But yeah, that's a great idea, man. You would think that would be the next logical sense to have more drive-ins, especially with people having Bluetooth in their car, have it set up where you can just connect the speaker system to your car and play the movie via your audio that way. And obviously social distancing would be perfect for that type of scenario. So, and I think I read an article the other day that they're going to be doing like some super fancy drive-in. I can't remember where it's going to be, but it's going to be like 2 huge screens. It's going to have like a restaurant type of setup. So yeah, they should definitely bring that back. Great comment there. So yeah, let me go ahead and get on to some of these other questions. Again, these are just questions that you guys sent me via Instagram. I'm going to go ahead and answer. So the next question was from bestmovies.s. She has a great Instagram page, great content. She really appreciates cinema. So I appreciate you sending this question in from Instagram. So and her question was, what's your favorite mob movie? That's a pretty easy question for me. That is Martin Scorsese's 1990 classic mobster film, and that is Goodfellas. Love that film. One of my favorite Martin Scorsese's. Probably, I think I want to say, yeah, that's my favorite Martin Scorsese film. That and Wolf of Wall Street and Raging Bull and Taxi Driver. Those are like my top tier Martin Scorsese films, one of my favorite directors of all time. But my favorite mob film is by far Goodfellas. I love that film. Pesci, De Niro, Ray, all that stuff. Karen. I love that film. You just got me thinking about watching that. I'm going to probably give that a watch after this watch along or after this live stream. I'm going to give Goodfellas. It's been a minute since I've rewatched it, but that's my favorite mob movie of all time. I love that film. So Snow White Film Reviews, by the way, Snow White Film Reviews, thank you so much for sending this question in via Instagram. She has a great Instagram, great person as well. So I appreciate you sending this question. So her question was, or actually now reading it, it says, not a question, though I love how consistent you are on your page and deliver a variety of content. Well, Snow White Film Reviews, thank you so much for that comment. It means a lot to me to be able to have this platform to, express my thoughts on movies and films and as you had mentioned, a variety of content. I love me some big blockbuster films, Marvel, DC, Star Wars. I love talking about the big popular shows, whether it be a Game of Thrones, a Walking Dead, back in the day when I used to watch the show or Stranger Things. But in the last like 7 or 8 months, something I really been wanting to do more is to show a variety of content on this channel, which you just brought up in that question, which is I want to talk about, some more anime shows, some more independent shows and movies and international movies and shows, which I've been doing lately. Like if you guys see my channel recently, I mean, I'm watching shows from Outer Banks to Midnight Gospel to White Lines, which takes place in Spain, The Eddy, which takes place in Paris, Battelle, which takes place in India. I'm watching movies like Manos, the art of self-defense, the color out of space. I mean, I'm watching so many different things because I really want to bring those smaller independent international movies and shows to you guys and let you know what I thought about it. So yeah, I definitely appreciate you noticing the variety of content, and that's something I want to strive to do, is to get people to venture out like I did, venture out into, I love the big blockbuster stuff, but see what else is out there, independent stuff, international stuff, because there's some great content out there. So thank you so much for noticing the variety of content. And that's something that I strive to do, is be different and to have different opinions on different things. So I really appreciate that question, or not question, but that comment. I really appreciate that. So the Arabian, or the Arab Khaleesi, very great Instagram account. And I appreciate you sending in your question here. Their question was, what 2020 movie were you most excited, most looking forward to before it got delayed? So as far as the delayed films, off top, especially when everything got delayed in March, I was looking forward to Mulan. I believe that was supposed to come out late March. And I believe from where I read, they're going to be actually putting that movie there. Disney is actually thinking about just putting it on Disney Plus, which would be crazy, but it kind of is what it is at this point, not knowing when theaters are going to open. But my most anticipated film that got delayed was probably A Quiet Place 2. One of my favorite horror films of the last decade. Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Noah Jope, and the young lady that played their daughter. I thought they were a fantastic family. I love the story. I'll never forget my theatrical experience with A Quiet Place. So I was really looking forward to seeing what they do with the sequel and expanding that universe and seeing what we got there. So that was probably my most anticipated film, but hopefully it'll come out in September. That's the new release date. But great question there. The Arab Khaleesi, I appreciate you sending that question. So let me go ahead and pop back in the chat and see where we're at. Where did I leave off at? Steel 510 Rain, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, guys, if you're just dropping by, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to stop by, say hey, drop a question, send me questions via Instagram. But again, as you can see on the bottom half there, if you guys didn't mind, you can definitely support the channel if you want to. You don't have to, but I do have super chats available, as well as donations from streamlabs.com/moviefiles. But even if you can't donate, which is perfectly fine, 100% fine, the best thing you can do for this channel is just give it a thumbs up. So if you have the moment, give this video a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. It really helps out the channel. But I thank you all for stopping by. But yeah, let me answer. Heck Smash, what's going on? Hector, man, this guy has one of the best Instagram pages in regards to his collection of movies, his collectible action figures. I mean, the guy is a great guy too. I had the opportunity to meet Hector. He was out in my way a couple months ago, or maybe last year. Hopefully he can come back out, and I would love to meet him in person. But Hector's a great person, great Instagram, so definitely give him a follow at heck_smash. Definitely a great guy. But do you think Snyder Cut success or failure would make a difference in the future of DCU? Not at all, my friend. Well, let me backtrack back. So to answer that question, it's twofold. The success. So if this movie comes, well, it will come out next year, and a lot of people are thinking it's going to come out next May. I think it should come out in November of next year, just because it's like a 3-year anniversary or 4-year anniversary when it comes out, or will it be? Yeah, 4-year anniversary. So if it is a big hit, which I guess with it being on a streaming platform, what does it mean to be a big hit? Because obviously there's not going to be box office numbers attached to it, but I would assume if they see a big spike in their subscription, then that will be a huge thing. But in regards to it affecting the future of DC, I don't know, man. That's a great question, Heck, because I think where I'm at mentally with the DCEU is the future, right? And I love Zack Snyder. I'm hot take here. I'm a fan of most of Snyder's films. Not the biggest fan of some films, but I am. When pertaining to the DC universe, Man of Steel is my second favorite DC film behind Wonder Woman. And sometimes that goes back and forth, but I love his interpretation of a more grounded, what if Superman was in today's universe? I love that Man of Steel film. BVS, not a fan of the theatrical cut, but I'm a big fan of the Snyder cut in regards to his extended cut on BVS. And then obviously we're going to see what his vision of Justice League was. So if it is a success, man, I don't know if DC is going to be like, hey man, we're going to give you the keys for Man of Steel 2, which obviously the Henry Cavill news came out. They were in talks. Now it came out the other day. They're not in talks. So we'll see what happens with that, which by the way, Henry Cavill is my favorite Superman of all time. No disrespect to Christopher Reeves and everyone else, but I love Henry Cavill in that role and hope that we get him back and we get him in and still 2 one of these damn days. But I don't know if I don't see Warner Brothers saying, hey, we're going to give you the keys to another Man of Steel, to Supergirl, to Green Lantern, to, I don't know, I'm trying to think of some other characters that he might want to tackle, Dr. Fate or so. I don't know that nature, but I don't see them going back to that well because they have, this trilogy plan with Matt Reeves. They have Patty Jenkins with Wonder Woman. James Gunn is now in the mix. We'll see if he wants to tackle another movie in the universe as for Suicide Squad. David F. Sandberg with Shazam, Black Adam. So I love the future and no offense to Zack Snyder and that universe that he created. And again, I don't think people give him enough credit for the casting of Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa. I mean, he put all those people in those roles. So I really applaud him for what he did, but I don't see them going back to that well, even if it is successful. If it's a failure, I think DC is just like, it's fine. It's what it is, what it is. It was in the past. We're moving forward with this. So it kind of is a catch-22 in that particular sense. But great question, Heck. I appreciate you sending that in, my friend. But I'm looking forward to that Snyder cut, guys. And we'll see what happens with the air cut, which we talked about a little bit earlier. But Robert says, I'm definitely checking out your video after the live stream to get your unfiltered opinion. LOL. Love your vids. I appreciate that, Robert. Yeah, definitely check out, and I assume you're talking about Defending Jacob. Yeah, check out that video. And like I said, in the next coming days, actually tomorrow, I'm going to have, tomorrow afternoon, I'm going to have my difference between the book and the series of Defending Jacob, how it was different between each other, because there's a big difference in the endings. And then I'm going to do a watch along for Defending Jacob. So if you guys are available tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time, I'm going to be doing a live watch along for the finale of Defending Jacob. But yeah, I appreciate that, Robert. Definitely check it out and let me know what you thought about it, man. Sean says you meant a live AMA. Noticed it just after I sent. Oh, no problem, man. I know what you meant. But I appreciate you stopping by, Sean. Steele says, sorry if this came up, but just got here. But will you be checking out Dark on Netflix? Great question. I've heard great things about the show. I hope I'm not. I believe there's only, what was it, 2 seasons? And this is the last season. I'm going to have to give that a shot because I've heard great things. I heard it's a great time travel show. It's a great drama, a great thriller, great sci-fi. So I'm going to have to give that show a shot. I didn't watch the trailer because obviously I haven't seen the seasons or any of the episodes. So I didn't want to spoil anything. But yeah, I'm going to have to catch up because I think the new season in a couple weeks, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm gonna have to check it out. I've heard some really great things about it, but let me know what you thought about Dark if you've seen it, and if it's worth me just dropping everything that I'm watching right now and just dive into it before I can watch a new season. Hex Smash says, do you think the success and failure of the Snyder Cut will impact the future DC project? Yeah, I think you asked me that earlier. I don't think it does, even if it's the biggest, most watch stream movie on any platform. I think DC right now, you can never say never, right? Because some of us never thought we'll see the Snyder Cut, but I think right now DC is on a trajectory on moving forward outside of that universe, which could be unfortunate. But I don't see it that way. I'm looking forward to see what Patty Jenkins does with Wonder Woman 84, Wonder Woman 3, David Ayer, see, if he gets his air cut, but, David F. Sandberg with Shazam 2, Black Adam, see what we got with the Batman, Matt Reeves. So I'm liking the future of the DC. So I don't see it really affecting what their future plans were. But again, who knows? I know there's been word about them wanting Ben Affleck back. So we'll see what happens there. So if you want to be really entertained, check out the last 4 episodes of Clone Wars. You won't regret it. Yeah, I've heard, I follow a lot of people that watch that show and love that show. And I heard that the last 4 episodes were fine. But me personally, it's like a mental, I can't just jump into a season 7 or season 6 of a show and watch the finale. I have to it's just like a mental thing for me, like my OCD. I can't just do that, even though I heard it's great Star Wars, but I would have to watch all of it before I got to that point. This is me personally, but I heard it was really great. I completely agree. That's awesome. So yeah, I heard some great things about that Clone Wars, and I have to check it out one of these days. But going back to the questions on Instagram, because there was like 40 of them. So I really appreciate you guys sending those over. And obviously, like I said, everyone that's in the chat, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, subscribe and do all that fun stuff. I really appreciate it. But going back to the Instagram questions here, we have short and sweet film reviews asked. Will you go back to the theater if the restrictions are lifted? Yeah, so this was a question that Ron had asked earlier, and I had answered it in regards to not right now. If they said tomorrow that all theaters across the U.S. will be open, I'm not running to the theaters, guys. That's just me personally. Even if they say Tenet's going to be available, we're going to drop this, that, and the third. I'm going to probably be a couple months before I personally feel comfortable going to the theater. But hopefully that's later this year. Give or take November, December, maybe August, September or so, kind of the fall season. I want to see where things are at in the fall. But right now, if they were to say all theaters are open, I won't be in them. I won't be walking into those theater doors anytime soon. But Snow White Film Reviews asks, what made you want to start a page dedicated to films and TV? That's a really great question. Not to make it too long-winded, but growing up, big fan of movies, and even a bigger fan of TV. It really boils down to is just I wanted to get my voice out there, right? In regards to my thoughts and opinions on movies and shows, and just showing that people like me, black men have an opinion on everything. When it comes to sci-fi, horror, comedy, action heroes, superheroes, all that good stuff. I just want to let people that look like me know that we have opinions with these content, those creations, and just getting my voice out there and hearing my voice. And also I want to be not to get all sappy or thought-provoking, but I want people to maybe be an inspiration. I want to be an inspiration to people that say, hey man, I love those shows. I love that movie. I have an opinion about it. And I hope that, when they watch my videos and from seeing me from all the way to September of 2017 to where I'm at now and be like, man, I want to have my own channel. I want to have my own opinions out there. So that's what I really hope that people do in regards to seeing that, YouTube is not easy. Having a YouTube channel and Instagram is nowhere near easy. But when you have the passion, like I do for films and TV, and also when you start to build a community and then you get to interact with people like this and people that send me questions on Instagram and are in the live chat, it's really cool to know that I'm talking to people that live in all across the world, and we have opinions about movies and shows. So that's what really got me into it, is just having my opinion out there, but also being an inspiration for people to have their own content, have their own voices out there, and have their voices be heard about these amazing things that we love, from the big blockbuster stuff to the small independent stuff. So yeah, that's kind of my inspiration there. It's just want to be heard and getting my voice out there and to inspire people to do the same. So great question there. And I hope that I answered that question well enough for you. And then we have here a Real Gay Movie Show, which I just met. This is Mike Lovins. I met him on Joe's show, Joe from Movie Guy at the Movies. We did a watch along for BVS. So thank you so much for sending in this question, Mike. Give him a follow. Check out his channel. He got some great content. So Mike asks, what is your favorite music-based biopic? That's a great question, Mike, because I don't really like biopics, if I'm being honest with you all. I don't want to say I don't like, I just don't gravitate towards those. I don't know. They're just not for me personally. But to answer your question, man, that's a good question because I don't really seek too many of them out. Let me think, man. Again, guys, I didn't prep these questions. I want to make this as raw and as authentic as possible. So I'm trying to think. Biopics. 8 Mile, does that count as a biopic? Because loosely based on Eminem's life story. He's one of my favorite rappers of all time. So yeah, 8 Mile. Selena. I love Selena. Looking forward to see what they do with that show on Netflix. So 8 Mile, Selena, Straight Outta Compton. Yeah, Straight Outta Compton, NWA. I'll put that up there. So yeah, those are some three that come to mind. 8 Mile, Selena, Straight Outta Compton, Ray. Can't forget about Ray. I thought Jamie Foxx did a great job in that role as Ray Charles. So yeah, there's 4 for you, Mike. Ray, Selena, 8 Mile, and what did I just say? I just totally forgot my last one. Oh, Straight Outta Compton. So there you go, Mike. That's a great question, man. On to the next one. Dead Peasants Society Films has a question here, and they ask, what is your top 5 horror films? Ooh, of all time. This is top 5 horror films, so I would assume of all time. Now, these films, I'm trying to think again. Bear with me while I think about this. These aren't necessarily the best horror films of all time, but these are the 5 that just kind of come to mind. Obviously, my number one, as I had mentioned, is John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween. This, I don't know why this is popping up, but this is one of my favorite horror films, The Descent. Love that movie. What else do we have? Get Out, Jordan Peele, classic. We were just talking about it on The Shining. Last week we talked about The Shining. That's one of my classics. Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick's 1980, The Shining. And then number 5, let me pull out something maybe more recent or something in the past. Scream. I'll give you Scream, The Shining, Get Out, Descent, and Halloween, 1978 Halloween. There's more than those are the only 5 that came to mind, but I have I can make a long list about horror films that I love, whether it be The Conjuring most recently, Insidious, I don't know, Psycho, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I mean, that's a long, that maybe that's a video for a day. But I appreciate you sending that question. We have Film Stock, which check them out on Instagram as well as on YouTube. They have a great, there's 2 guys. I know one of the guys' name is Chris. I can't think of the other gentleman's name, but they have a great YouTube channel. So check them out. His question was, or Film Stock question was, which one do I prefer? Han Solo, Indiana Jones. This one's kind of easy for me. That's going to be Han Solo. I really enjoy Indiana Jones, but I haven't revisited those films in such a long time. I really enjoy the character, obviously, but I don't know. I don't have the biggest fandom for Indiana Jones for whatever reason, even though I'm excited to see what they do with the 5th one. Harrison Ford coming back in the role. James Mangold really got me excited to see what he does with that film, because he does a great job of kind of obviously thinking of Logan and how he handles someone kind of their last film and how he handled that with Hugh Jackman. So I'm really interested to see what James Mangold does with the 5th Indiana Jones, but I was not a fan of Crystal Skulls. But the first 3 were fantastic, especially the first 2 Indiana Jones films, and the last one was fantastic too. But Han Solo for me all day. I love Han Solo in the Star Wars universe. So I'm going to hop back into the chat, see what you guys are talking about here. Let me see where I left off at. Where were we? All right, here we go. Mike says, new to the channel, nice stream. Do you see the yeah, no, I heard about it, man. That Money, what was it called? Greed or something like that on Netflix. Yeah, I heard it's pretty crazy. I might have to check that out. I haven't seen it yet though, but I'll give it a watch, man. But I appreciate you stopping in, Mike Media Incorporated. Let me know if it's worth checking out, man, and also definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and check out my content I have on my channel. But I appreciate you stopping by, Mike. Flick Talk, what's going on, man? I was just talking about you earlier, David from Flick Talks, guys. If you haven't already, or if you're not familiar with the gentleman, he has a lot of great content on his channel. He does movie news, movie reviews, talks some TV stuff. He has a great Instagram page. I know he's really breaking into the breaking movie news and TV news, so definitely give him a follow on Instagram and subscribe to his YouTube channel. But David says, what's good, Elliot? Leaving work, literally driving, LOL. Just wanted to check in. Well, I appreciate it, man. Drive safe. Don't talk on your phone while driving, David. I hope you was at a stop sign or a red light, man. But no, I appreciate the support, my friend. And again, guys, give David a subscribe and check him out on Instagram. I have to get into the show Hollywood, man. I reviewed that. What was it, last month? Definitely has some entertainment value. Definitely has some good messaging in regards to this kind of else world, or kind of once upon a time in Hollywood, if you want to call it that. What if Hollywood was originally in the golden age in the 40s and 50s? What if it was women running a studio, a big studio? What if there were women of color? What if there were, minority actors and directors and writers? What would it look like in Hollywood? And that's what the show tries to tackle. And you can check out my review in regards to some of my criticism of the show, but definitely worth a watch. 7 episodes, about 45 minutes to an hour a piece. Obviously, if you guys aren't familiar with the creator, Ryan Murphy, really good. I'm a big fan of his. Some of his stuff hits or miss, but he has more hits than misses. Obviously, American Horror Series, Versace, the O.J. Simpson Story, Nip Tuck, all those shows are fantastic. So definitely give it a watch. It's worth checking out. It has some good things to be said, but there's some flaws with the show. But definitely give it a shot and give it a watch, and check out my review after you do so. Theatrical experience with The Quiet Place. Do tell. Yeah, no, it was just a simple matter of, I just remember, being in a packed house and everyone being invested in the movie. No one was on their phone, to my knowledge. No one was being loud, eating food really loud. Everyone was like so invested in the movie, and that was the whole thing of the film, right? It was very little dialogue. It was all atmospheric. It was all based on the score and the sound mixing and kind of embracing that world. And I thought that everyone appreciated that, and also everyone was aware of the film and not breaking people out of their investment in the movie. So when I meant by theatrical experience, I was just so amazed that no one was being noisy and being loud and being distracting towards the film. Everyone was just locked into the movie. That's one of the few films that Endgame, Infinity War, where people was just like locked in. Like no one was like talking or yelling or being distracting. So that's what I mean. I was just like, I couldn't believe how invested people were in regards to being respectful to the whole idea of it being almost like, I think even David said it with I think we were talking about The Shining. He was just talking about how it was almost like a silent film in the modern day, and I just love that theatrical experience. I just love seeing that movie for the first time in theater, and again, the atmospheric sound, the score mixing, the score of the movie was just fantastic, and the movie was just great as well. So yeah, Robert asks, do you have faith in the new Batman movie, or will it be another DC flop? That's a great question, man. But you know, never say never, but I don't ever see this movie being a flop. I'm a big Matt Reeves fan from my days for Cloverfield, Let Me In, the remake, obviously Dawn of the Apes and War of the Apes. I think the guy is fantastic, and I think if he's able to make us, I can't speak for everyone, but I'll speak for myself. If he was able to get me invested in an ape, I can't imagine what he's going to do with a human being and one of my favorite my favorite comic book character. I don't know if you guys recognize his shirt, is Batman. So I think Robert Pattinson, I think he's going to do a fantastic job as not only Batman, but I'm really interested to see what he does with Bruce Wayne. But I'm also interested in the Batman aspect, because I think this is going to be a more cerebral approach. I don't think there's going to be as much action as people might be expecting, especially coming off of Ben Affleck and that warehouse scene. I think this is going to be, as he said in the past, a film noir detective film, and I think we're going to get more of the greatest detective in the world storylines versus, you know, the more brutal bronze fighting Batman. So I am really looking forward to it. I don't think, honestly, I don't think it's going to be, I don't want to say impossible. I don't see that film flopping at all. I think this film is going to do bonkers at the box office. The cast is incredible. Paul Dano, Zoe Kravitz, Jeffrey Wright, Colin Farrell, and I mean, the list goes on and on with the talented people involved in that film. And again, I'm a big fan of Matt Reeves. I love the cinematographer of the movie, Arrival and Dune and all that stuff that he has in the future. I mean, the guy is a great cinematographer. The score, I mean, it has Michael Giacchino as the composer. Man, I can't wait. I can't wait. So to answer your question, Robert, I do have faith in the Batman movie. I don't see it being a flop. I'm really, really excited to see what they do with that film. Aurora Hill says, if Henry Cavill does another Superman film, will he ever get James Bond? Yeah, no, if you're asking me which one I might prefer, I prefer Henry Cavill in the Superman suit more than I do in the tuxedo as James Bond, even though I would love to see him in that role. I don't know if you guys saw Man from U.N.C.L.E., him and Armie Hammer and Alicia Van Kilmer. I thought that film was so underrated by Guy Ritchie. Such a great movie, so underrated. But I want to see Henry Cavill in Superman for as long as he can play the character. He is my favorite interpretation of Superman. Movies, TV show, whatever you want to call it. And no disrespect to the GOAT, Christopher Reeve. I appreciate what he did. I think that was a Superman that a lot of people grew up with and imagined Superman as. And that film has its moments in regards to like the sequels when it got a little bit darker and a little bit more grounded and to a certain extent. But yeah, I just love what Henry Cavill, what Zack Snyder did with that Man of Steel, and I really want to see him back in the role. But to answer your question, I think I don't think we'll see him in James Bond, because I think he's just such a busy guy. If he does come back as Superman, that's obviously going to take up his time. I don't know if you guys watched The Witcher. You talk about a show that I was slightly nervous about getting into, because I knew of The Witcher. I used to work for Best Buy for many, many years, and people used to pick up that game all the time and talk so much about it. And the books obviously are very popular, but I was a little bit nervous watching the show, because I'm just like, I don't know what I'm getting into. But I really enjoyed The Witcher. That's a really good show, guys. If you're looking for something like a nice sci-fi type of TV show with some supernatural elements and some really interesting character. Give The Witcher a shot. But going back to your question, yeah, I don't think he'll be playing James Bond. Who I personally want to see as James Bond is his name is drawn. I'm drawing a blank right now. Rob Stark, Richard Madden. I think he would be perfect in that role, and I hope that he gets the role after Daniel Craig in No Time to Die. I think that Richard Madden would be a great James Bond. But maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I think, or even 3 or 4 years ago, I think Henry Cavill would have been great in the role. But obviously, we know that Daniel Craig is coming back. But I would love to see Richard Madden play that character. But great question. Aurora Hill, really appreciate you sending that in. So going back to, again, I have about 60 questions that you guys submitted. So I definitely want to make sure I get to all these questions and obviously get to you guys' chat. So thank you guys for sticking around for this live stream. If you're just tuning in, if you haven't already, give this video a thumbs up. Goes a long way, but I also really appreciate it. But also, if you want, you don't have to. I have super chats available. You can donate to the channel. I have Streamlabs, which is streamlabs.com/moviefiles. If you want to donate, greatly appreciate it. If you don't, just give this video a thumbs up. That means a lot, and I really appreciate the support, guys. So going back to these questions here, I stopped off on was the film stock. So the next question is cinematics. This is Eve, who is a recent friend of mine. I've really been having a great conversation with her. She connected me with some other people that's been on my channel. So Eve has a question saying, do you prefer, this is a good question, Eve, do you prefer open-ended endings or closed-ended endings? So that is a perfect question because we were just talking about Defending Jacob. And for those that haven't seen it, I don't want to give too much away, but it that question that she poses is something regarding the show. But to answer your question, Eve, it really just depends on the storytelling, right? There's some things that I'm like, what? Why wouldn't they just answer that? Why wouldn't they just tell us? But at the same time, if you handle the story well, leaving the audience to their open interpretation and how they foresee the things happen, it really just depends on storytelling, right? Like Inception comes to mind, and the whole spinning the little his spinning object that he had. I love that ending. But then there's some shows that I'm just like, come on, just let us know what happened. And again, guys, I don't want to spoil Defending Jacob, but I think of a show most recently on HBO, 2 shows, The Night Of with Ms. Arad, Ahmad, I'm blanking on his name. I think it's Ms. Arad, or I can't think of his name right now. But either way, that show was very interesting, and it kind of posed a certain similar question. I'm going to look up his name, Riz Ahmad. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it kind of posed that question of an open-ended question in regards to answering a certain thing or not. But either way, it just depends on the story. If the story is more focused on the circumstances versus the who done it, and the really, like, I'll use Sharp Objects as another show on HBO where there was a murder mystery and they blatantly gave us the answer literally the last couple minutes of the show. But I think of a show like I said, The Night Of, where it's like the point of the show was, did he kill this girl or not? The Night Of is what I'm speaking of now. And the whole focus of the show was, it was who killed this girl in the house, but it was also what the system does to someone that is might be innocent, what going to jail can do to them after they come out. They're not going to be the same. So that was kind of the point of the show, but I wish that they would have answered the question. But that's a great question, Eve. But for me, it just really depends on how the show presents itself in regards to, open-ended versus closed-ended. But great question. Opinionated says they have a great channel also, guys. Opinionated, check them out on Instagram. They have a lot of movie news and superhero stuff and pop culture stuff. So give them a follow on Instagram. That is Opinionated. Their question was, what is your favorite comedy movie? My favorite comedy of all time, without question, without hesitation. I just want to make sure it's the right year before I even say it, even though it's my favorite film of all time. Yeah, 2007's coming of age film, Superbad. Superbad is my favorite comedy of all time, guys. I absolutely adore that film. I can recite those lines. I love Superbad, guys. So to answer your question, Opinionated, Superbad is my favorite comedy of all time, bar none. I love that film. So let me go back to the chat and see where you guys are at. We talked about Hollywood. We talked about theatrical experience, Batman, Henry Cavill. Here we go. So they asked me, do you watch 13 Reasons Why? I do. I've watched all 3 seasons. Not recently, but last year, I reviewed the 3rd season of 13 Reasons Why. You can watch my review on my opinion on that. let's just say I wasn't the biggest fan of the third season. Season 2 had its ups, had its downs, but I much more enjoyed the second season than I enjoyed the third. And then the first season is by far the best season of that show. The subject matter I thought was handled pretty well. Regardless, I know there was some differences, and some people didn't like the show's message, and it's dealing with a touchy subject, which is suicide. But I thought the first season was fantastic. Again, the second season had a lot of potential, had some good things about it, some bad things. But season 3, again, check out my review for season 3. I wasn't a fan. I believe the character name was Bryce. And the new character, I can't think of her name right now. What they did with that third season was, in my opinion, very distasteful. And also just mixed messaging. I'll just leave it at that. But to answer your question, I do watch 13 Reasons Why. And even though I didn't watch my review for the third season, I wasn't the biggest fan of the third season. But even though I wasn't the biggest fan, because I'm again, OCD. If I'm 3 seasons into a show, I'm just not going to drop off the map, even though I did that kind of in a sense with Walking Dead. But that was just a matter of me canceling cable. I didn't watch Walking Dead when it was on cable, but I have to catch back up. But as I digress, even though I wasn't a fan of season 3 of 13 Reasons Why, I'm going to go ahead and check out the 4th season, which I think is June 5th or June 12th or something like that. And I'll give you guys my thoughts on if the 4th season is better than the 3rd. Daniel says Tenet should be pushed back to late September. Yeah, that's what I was saying. September, October, December. I definitely agree with you there, Daniel. More closer to the fall, end of summer. I will go to the cinema on my own. Sorry, guys. I will go to the cinema. Yeah, I mean, be safe, though. That's all you got to do is just be safe when you're out there. Jay Cooper. Thank you, Jay Cooper. I really appreciate it. Like I said, guys, you don't have to donate, but if you do, from the bottom of my heart, top of my heart, side of my heart, I really appreciate it. This channel, those donations go straight to this channel, not into my pocket. So what I mean by that is, eventually, I want to do some things with equipment. Last December, you guys say, hey, I love your channel, but the audio is not that great. So I went out and bought a mic. I eventually want to get a camera. Right now, I just have a little phone light, a little, what do they call it? I can't think of the name of it, but I want to invest more into this channel to really give you guys a little bit better production. Maybe I know everyone talks about my background. I like to keep it simple. Simplicity is my favorite thing in the world, but maybe have some posters or things of that nature. I want to have some editing software. So I definitely want to, boost the production value of the channel. So things like that, Jay Cooper, Nancy Smith, I can't thank you guys enough for the support on the channel. Again, if you guys want to, you don't have to. Super chats are available, but also streamlabs.com/movie files. You can donate that way. But like I said, even if you don't have the funds to donate to the channel, perfectly fine. Just give the video a thumbs up. That goes a really long way. But again, Jay Cooper, thank you so much for that donation. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart, top of my heart, side of my heart, all of my heart. Thank you so much for the support, my friend. And also Nancy, who also donated earlier. I can't thank you guys enough. So really appreciate that. Favorite sports movie? That's a great question, man. Sports movie. Growing up as a kid, obviously in the 90s, Space Jam, but Above the Rim. I'm a big fan of that film. Tupac was in that film. Marlon Wayans. I love that film. White Man Can't Jump. I love that film. Most recently, I thought that even though I thought the sports element could have been better in the film, but I get the point of the movie was The Way Back by Ben Affleck. So yeah, those are some that come to mind as far as sports movies. I'm trying to think of any other Hoosiers. Rudy. Obviously, those are some classics. But yeah, those are some that come to mind. But what are some of your favorite sports movies, Daniel? But I appreciate that question, my friend. Still says, OMG, The Descent was terrifying when it came. Yeah, whew. I love The Descent. Such a great movie. I love that movie. Thomas says, did you see The Last Kingdom? No, Thomas, that is on my watch list, man, because Connor, who is a friend of mine, he mentioned that show was fantastic. And also I know Austin Burke, who has a great YouTube channel, he reviews that show and talks highly about that show. That is a show I was talking about earlier about, diversity and having some other great content on this channel. That is a show I believe is all Asian cast. It takes place in Asia or China, and it takes place in this 15, 16, 1800s. And it's like a zombie show. So man, zombies and and I believe it has someone says kind of Game of Thrones-ish, the political aspect of Game of Thrones. So The Last Kingdom If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if that's the show you guys are talking about on Netflix. That is something that has been on my watch list. Ron, what's going on, Ron? I don't know if you're just tuning in, man, but I answered your question earlier when you asked me about the consumers going to Tenet in July and all that. So I appreciate the question, Ron. But also, I appreciate you stopping by. So your question, Ron. By the way, guys, give Ron a follow on Instagram and on YouTube. This guy is going to be the next big thing when it comes to voiceover work. He's a great guy, but he has a lot of great content, some great interviews. I was fortunate enough to be interviewed by Ron, so definitely give him some support. So Ron says, growing and loving it. Elliot, as usual, not surprised. Just I appreciate it, man. Just dropping by to show some love. Thank you so much, Ron. And the question: are you interested or still care about New Mutants? Stay safe, man. Yeah, you and your family stay safe as well. Everyone on the live stream, you guys. I hope everyone's doing good out there. Not only with COVID-19, but obviously all the injustice is going on right now in America. Is hope you guys are safe where you guys are at. So to answer your question, Ron. Yes, I am still interested in New Mutants. As I had mentioned earlier, when I talked about the horror films, I'm a big horror fan. Love me some horror, and I'm really excited to see what they do. We haven't really gotten a horror-ish film in the comic book realm since like the Blade days, the original Blade and the second Blade, third Blade, Trinity. Was a big fan of that, but that's like the last time I can remember. Oh well, I guess Brightburn was a superhero-ish film. Yeah, superhero horror film. But either way, yes, I'm looking forward to see what Josh Boone, his original cut of the New Mutants, and Anna Taylor-Joy and Macy Williams cast and everything with the Demon Bear and all those different things. I'm really looking forward to see what that film has to offer. I don't expect it to lead into a franchise, even though I know Josh Boone recently said that he would love to get his trilogy that he planned to do, which is kind of unfortunate, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's August. Is it coming out in August 28th, I believe, of this year? So what is that, the 5th or 6th change of a date? So I am looking forward to it, Ron. But thank you for the question, my friend. I hope you and your family are staying safe, and I appreciate you stopping by. And like I said, guys, definitely give Ron a follow. We got Film Geeks. What's going on, man? This is another guy who I just recently came in contact with via social media, but he has a great YouTube channel. He talks about defending Jacob. He also has movie reviews on his channel, TV reviews. He does some live streams with some other guys on YouTube. So definitely give Film Geeks a follow, guys. Check him out on Instagram as well. But subscribe to his channel. But his question was, what's up, Elliot? Who's your favorite working director today? For me, man, it's Denis Villeneuve. Sicario, Arrival, Blade Runner 2049, one of my favorite films of all time. I'm so excited for Dune. That's my most anticipated film this year. Hopefully it still comes out this year. But yeah, Denis Villeneuve is my favorite director, hands down. And then, if that's 1A, 1B is Christopher Nolan. Like I said, Interstellar is one of my favorite films of all time. My favorite Christopher Nolan film is Interstellar, but obviously the Batman stuff and Prestige and, all those films, and Inception, obviously. But yeah, Christopher Nolan and Denis Villeneuve, and then some, rounding out maybe my top 5. I love what Jordan Peele's doing in the industry. Ari Aster, Robert Eggers. Again, you notice these are horror fans or horror directors. Jennifer Kent, Patty Jenkins. All those people are kind of my top tier. When I see their names, I just get really excited about their projects. A lot of up and coming directors that I'm a big fan of that I look forward to. But to answer your initial question, my favorite director working today is bar none, Denis Villeneuve. I'm a huge fan of Denis Villeneuve. The guy is fantastic. Going back to Film Geeks, early Oscar predictions. That's a great question. I might have to go back to what films? Obviously Bad Boy, Sonic. We didn't get that many films earlier this year. I'm gonna have to hold on. Let me just pull up the movies I've seen this year. I'm gonna go theatrical. And let me see. What did we get this year? So we got, and these films kind of came out last year, so this one really counts. Say 1917, Just Mercy were last year released, but they got bigger theatrical run. So Bad Boys for Life, Gentlemen, Gretel and Hansel, Birds of Prey, The Photograph, Final Fantasy Island, Sonic, Horse Girl, The Lodge, The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man is probably my favorite film this year, if I'm being honest with you guys. And then as far as streaming services, there's been some great stuff. I think of Big Time Adolescence on Hulu, the platform on Netflix. Tiger Tail on Netflix was a really good movie. Extraction was a really good action movie, but obviously it's not going to be winning any Oscars anytime soon. So I think Invisible Men is probably my favorite film this year. Just kind of looking at the films I've seen so far this year. So Yeah, so in regards, I don't think that's going to be a Best Picture nominee, but obviously, Oscar season, we're going to get those more prestigious films that get those nominations. So yeah, I don't think out of all the films I've seen this far, I mean, there's some films that obviously, like I said, Invisible Man for production value and editing and stuff like that, and sound mixing and stuff. But out of all the movies I've seen this far, I don't think there's I don't see a Best Picture nomination for at least the films I've seen. Just kind of looking through the list. So, but I imagine, a lot of these film festival films are coming out on YouTube, and Sundance films are coming out. And obviously this November, we got a lot of big things to look forward to, Tenet, Dune. I mean, there's so many independent films that I can't even think of right now that'll be coming out. That'll definitely probably get some attention. But, as they had mentioned, a couple weeks ago, I don't know if we're going to even get an Oscars next year. So, but great question, man. Let me know which some of your favorite films, and who do you think predicts is going to win some Oscars come 2021, maybe 2022, late 2021. Are you interested in seeing the Air cut? Yeah, someone asked this question earlier, Film Geeks. I am interested in it. Hector asked that question earlier. I am interested in watching the Air cut, just the same way I am about the Snyder cut. I want to see these directors' vision, man. I want to see what they intended for the film. And yes, David Ayer it's a very different situation than Snyder, but I want to see what his, a little bit more of the Jared Leto, what they were going to do with that character, Katana, which I thought was she didn't get enough screen time. There was apparently some more stuff with Deadshot and Harley Quinn. It was going to be a darker film, and I want to see that. So yes, I would definitely be down for an Air cut if it dropped on HBO Max. I'm 100% down for that. Idris Elba would be Idris Elba will be a fantastic Bond. No ageism here at all. No, talking about people's ages, but I think he's maybe past his time as James Bond, especially if they want to do a franchise with this new James Bond. Again, they could do one-offs, right? I mean, to your point, they can do, maybe that's what James Bond could do in the next 4 or 5 years. If they don't really have a Bond in mind, is do Idris Elba, do a Henry Cavill, these one-offs, very, 1 or 2 films from these actors. But personally, if they wanted to branch off and do like 4 or 5 films like they did with Daniel Craig, Richard Madden would be my guy to do the next slate of films for James Bond. So great questions, guys. So I'm going to head back over to these, like I said, 40 plus questions I got via Instagram. So the Casual Moviegoer, someone else that I've been a big fan of on Instagram, guys, 60-second movie reviews. This guy has a lot of great energy, has a lot of great content. Check him out on Instagram. That is the Casual Moviegoer. I was fortunate enough to be on a stream with him, with the guys over at Talking TV podcast. We did some, we talked about the future of Star Wars. So definitely check those guys out as well, the Talking TV podcast, YouTube channel, and Instagram. But his question was, how do you find the time? How do you find the time of the day to watch all those shows and movies? That's a great question, man. Simple. It's a simple question. Clone. It's a clone of me. I have multiple versions of myself. One of my clones watch TV shows. My other clone watch movies. My other clone does my 9-to-5 job. My other clone, does all the errands and pays the bills. So it's just, I have 5 of me. That's the answer to that question. No, it's just time management, man. I always trying to schedule out, my personal life, my work, movie shows. I sometimes stay up super late to watch these shows. Sometimes I get up super early to watch movies and shows. So it's all about time management. And also too, when I first, there's the thing about, getting your content out there first so you can get a bigger audience and whatnot. But now I'm just starting to say, like, when I get the time to come around these certain shows, like, Space Force came out yesterday, I didn't put my review out to today, so sometimes that happens with your schedule. So, to really answer your question, just about time management, cloning, and stuff like that now. But time management, I just, I map out, I go to Hulu, Amazon, Apple TV, Disney Plus, Netflix, like a month before they're, so I already looked at what's coming out next June. Yeah, I do a thing on my show called Movie and TV Bucket List, where I am essentially highlighting what films I'm going to be looking out for and which movies I'm going to be watching, reviewing, and shows. So I go like a month in advance. I see what's coming out, and I try to map it around my schedule, trying to, make sure that I don't have things to do that Friday or maybe Saturday before I can watch a movie, watch a show. So it's all about time management. But, if you think I'm someone that puts out a lot of content, there are so many great content creators that have been in this chat. The people that I follow that do, like, it's just amazing how quickly they put out their content. Like I said, I brought him up earlier, Austin Burke. He has a really good YouTube channel, and I don't even think he gets like screeners, like early screeners. I know some people, obviously, they get screeners, free of rants, screeners. Like I know some people reviewed Space Force on Monday or Tuesday, so because they had the screener to see it early. But some people, they're just on it, man. So I really appreciate that, and they motivate me to try to get out my content as quickly as possible. So it's just a matter of time management. So Cinematic, Eva asks, what's your favorite genre? It's a great question. It's the genre. My favorite genre either would be horror or sci-fi, and I love a good sci-fi horror. So those are my two favorite genres. But if I were to pick just one, it would be horror for me. I love me a good horror film just because it has a lot of great horror films. Have something to say, can put something in your mind, and I just love horror. But like I said, sci-fi too. I love sci-fi because a lot of great sci-fi out there. But I of course love action, comedy, rom-coms, all that good stuff too. But horror and sci-fi are my favorite genres. Movie Blurb asks, who was actually in the chat earlier, Sean, thank you for sending in this question. He asked your least favorite film genre and your favorite film from said genre and why. That is a great question. All these questions are great. I really like that question. My least favorite film genre. I had talked about biopics earlier. I don't really seek those out. So, Ray, 8 Mile, those are some films that I really like. Musicals, nothing against musicals, but those are films I don't really seek out musicals at all. But one of my favorite, if not my favorite musical of all time is La La Land. 2015 or 2016, 2015, 2015, I want to say. La La Land is my favorite musical of all time, guys. I know that film gets a lot of flack. 2016 La La Land by Damien Chazelle, who I love. Whiplash, La La Land. Most recently, The First Man. And then I don't know if you guys watched on Netflix. He has a show that he directed and was an executive producer. He directed the first 2 episodes of The Eddie, which stars Andre Holland, and it is a show that takes place in Paris, and it is a very interesting show about jazz, but also about some drama, some other stuff going on. So yeah, to answer your question, Sean, my least favorite genre is musicals, and my favorite musical would be La La Land. I love that film. Emma Stone, Ryan Gosling was just announced yesterday to be the Wolfman, which would be very interesting. He was in one of my favorite films of all time, in Blade Runner 2049. But I love the chemistry. I love the music in that movie. And I love the story, right? The classic love story in that movie. So La La Land is my favorite musical and my least favorite genre. So Music Madness or Movie Madness asks, how do you feel about 2001? Like 2001 the year, or maybe Stanley Kubrick's 2001 Space Odyssey. I saw that film when I was in college because I had to watch it for a college course and do a movie I don't even know why we watched that film. We didn't even have to write a paper. I think we were just watching it. But either way, it's been so long. I remember it being long. I remember it being, groundbreaking. The technical achievements of that movie, and I'm gonna have to revisit that. But I don't remember if I liked it or not. I think I remember it being super long. And also too, when I was in college back then, I didn't really appreciate films like that as much as I do now. So I'm gonna have to revisit that. But I don't really remember it too much, if I'm being honest with you, Movie Madness. But let me know what you all think about Space Odyssey 2001, if that's what the question was. And also Movie Madness has another question here. How do you feel about The Descent, which we talked about already? I love that movie. The Descent, The Babadook, It Follows. So Descent, one of my favorite horror films of all time. The Babadook, Jennifer Kent, love that film. Such a great movie, dealing with grieving and trauma, and just a psychological, fantastic film. It Follows, hot take. I'm not the biggest fan of It Follows. I think it was one of those situations where I don't know. Maybe it was my mindset when I saw it. I'm gonna have to revisit because I know a lot of people stand behind that film, and like It Comes at Night. There's just 2 films I know a lot of people like that. The Witch is another one, even though I love Robert Eggers and I love the filmmaking of that movie, but that's another film I have to revisit. So It Follows was okay. I didn't like it or love it as much as other people does, but the other 2 films, The Descent and The Babadook, I love those 2 films. So thank you for sending in that question, Movie Madness. So let me head back to the chat. Where we were at, where did I leave off at? We talked about favorite director, Denis Villeneuve, Oscar predictions, Idris Elba. I think I answered that question. And then Film Geeks, thank you so much, my friend, donating to the channel. Again, thank you. You guys don't have to donate, but if you do, just know that money is going towards this channel. Technical improvements, things of that nature. So thank you so much for that, guys. If you want to, again, you don't have to, but if you want, you could donate via super chats on the YouTube, or you can go to StreamYard. I'm on StreamYard, streamlabs.com/moviefiles, and you can donate to the channel if you want to. You don't have to whatsoever. You're not obligated to do so. But if you want to do me a favor, one of the best things you can do to donate to this channel, just give the video a thumbs up. It means a lot to me, but it also helps out the algorithm and all that fun stuff. But Film Geeks, Thank you so much for that donation. Film Geeks, Jay Cooper, Nancy Smith, who donated to this stream so far. And thank you guys so much for the support. I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate it, guys. Q Reviews, what's up? What's going on, Q? As I had mentioned, I had to do a watch along. Q was on that watch along. Q has been on my channel 3 times now. Infinity War, a watch along, or Endgame, both actually. He's been on my channel 4 times. We did a watch along for Infinity War, Endgame. We did a watch along for Friday the 13th, celebrating his 40th anniversary, and then just last week we did a watch along for The Shining. So Q is a good friend of mine. I love his content. This guy has some amazing content. He is funny as hell, representing Michigan. So definitely give Q a follow on Instagram, but check out his amazing YouTube channel, The Sleep Paralysis Demon. Love it, man. I'm glad you was able to stop by, Q. Thank you so much, man, for stopping by. Q, I think he might have had a question. How do you feel about HBO Max? So yeah, Q, the other day I did like I reviewed the first 3 episodes of the new Anna Kendrick original show on HBO Max, Love Life, which was okay, not great. I don't know if I'll be watching it on a week-to-week basis, but I might tune back in and see what's going on with the show. But I did, after I reviewed that, I did like a 2-in-1 video where the first half of the video was my review on the show, but then the second half was just my thoughts on HBO Max, and I'm loving it, man. Again, the the original content will be there. You know, Ridley Scott's going to have a show. The Snyder Cut, the Green Lantern with Greg Berlanti. We'll see how that goes. And there's a lot of original content I'm looking forward to. But the content that's on there now, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, all the classic stuff that's already on HBO, like we talked about, Leftovers, Euphoria, all that great stuff. And then I'm going to get more into anime pretty soon. I'm going to be watching some of the Ghibli stuff and the Crunchyroll, I believe, was the app with all the anime stuff. So I'm going to be getting into that. They got the Warner Classics, Casablanca, Citizen Kane, Gone with the Wind, all those long-ass Ben-Hur long films that I watched when I was younger, but, maybe could revisit those just to kind of maybe show some more appreciation. We were talking about earlier, Space Odyssey 2001 with Stanley Kubrick. So, revisiting those classics. I've never... Besides the first Harry Potter, I haven't seen the other Harry Potter. So stuff like that, man, it's got me excited for the content that will be on there, original content, the Snyder Cut, the Air Cut maybe, but also the extensive library that they have. I'm a big fan of it so far. Very user-friendly, very, I'm really liking it. I'm liking this. Is not this, by the way, this channel isn't sponsored by HBO, but I'm a big fan of HBO, guys. So great question, Q. I'm glad you was able to stop by, my friend. Robert says, would you consider watching and reviewing Insecure? It's a great question, Robert, because I am a huge fan of Issa Rae, and everything I've seen her from YouTube, transition into TV, obviously transition into films such as, The Hate You Give, most recently the film that she was in with Kumail Nanjiani, The Lovebirds, which I wasn't a fan of that film, but I love Issa Rae. So to answer your question, I have watched the first 2 seasons of Insecure, and I didn't see season 3, nor am I watching season 4, so I have to catch up with that. So to answer your question, I haven't been watching it, I haven't reviewed it, but I am a fan. I'm gonna have to catch up to it, but I really love Issa Rae. I love that show, and I'm gonna go ahead and catch up with Issa and Lawrence and all that stuff and her friends. So I'm a big fan of that show, guys. So I'm gonna have to catch up to it and see what's going on. But Robert, let me know what's going on with it, man, if you're liking season 4, because I know they got renewed for season 5 recently, so that's awesome because I love Issa Rae. Do you watch the CW superhero shows? To answer your question, I did watch them. The first 4 seasons of Arrow. I think I got out of there after the Ra's al Ghul storyline, and Stephen Amell's character Oliver died for like the 5th time in that show, but I bounced out of that show season 4. Huge Flash fan. I think I stayed 5 seasons with that. It just became repetitive, and the Flash is one of my favorite superheroes, but I just couldn't. It was the same thing. It was like more speedsters. He's effing up the timeline. Iris over everything. It was just so frustrating watching that show. I watched the first season of Legends of Tomorrow. I watched the first couple episodes of Supergirl, didn't get into it. Never got into Black Lightning, which I got to check that out because I've heard some really good things about that. What else is on that? I didn't watch Batgirl or Batwoman. Ruby Rose is out of that role. So to answer your question, I did, but it just was too time consuming, man. It's like 23 episodes. Our episode that's like a job, man. It's like, and plus, like I said, I wasn't passionate about it. I started to lose interest in those shows. So it's just a matter of, it is what it is at this point. But, who knows? I might, gravitate towards and see how things finished up with Arrow, even though I know how Arrow ends and seeing how Flash ends. So but we'll see. But I don't watch them now, to answer your question. So yeah, let me go back to these questions here, and then I go back into the chat and answer you guys' questions. Again, if you guys are just stopping by, thank you so much for tuning into my very first ever live stream Q&A, Ask Me Anything's movie and TV edition. And again, if you guys want, you can donate to the channel via super chats or streamlabs.com/movie files. You don't have to donate at all, but if you want to, it'd be greatly appreciated. But what you can do is give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and check out my content. So where did I leave off at? The underscore film underscore hunter asks if if there was a movie about your life, who would you want to direct it? I guess Denis Villeneuve. It'll be a dark, gritty type of film. I would love Denis Villeneuve to talk about my very boring life. But no, I love Denis Villeneuve, so I would love him to direct the story of my life. I love movies underscore 456. They have quite a few questions. Their first question was favorite horror film. 1978's John Carpenter's Halloween. Next question was your favorite Christopher Nolan film. That is Interstellar. Next question was, and this is all, like I said, they have like 7 questions, so I'm just answering. Again, I appreciate you sending that question. I love movies. Most anticipated movie that was supposed to be released by now. I mentioned that earlier, was A Quiet Place. Favorite Denis Villeneuve film, Blade Runner 2049. Second behind that, either Prisoners or Sicario or even Arrival. Great director. So, but my favorite film from him is Blade Runner 2049. Favorite Spider-Man movie, Spider-Verse. I love that film. And then probably under that would be Homecoming and then Spider-Man 2. And then their last question that they sent in was favorite show on TV so far this year. Oh, that's a great question. Either The Outsider, Defending Jacob, and Ozark season 3. Those are my favorite shows so far this year. And then Quickie underscore movie reviews asks favorite series on each streaming service. So the first one was Netflix. Favorite show on Netflix, either Stranger Things or Ozark. Stan, I don't know what Stan is. I think that's like an international service, so I'm not sure what's on that platform. Disney, Mandalorian, Prime Video. I don't have Amazon, which is crazy. I have all the other streaming apps, but Amazon, I'm gonna have to get Amazon because I heard there's some great content like The Boys and stuff like that. So I don't have Amazon. But to answer the 2 out of the 4 you sent me, Netflix is either Stranger Things or Ozark, and the Disney is The Mandalorian. So great question, guys. Great question. So an eye for cinema. They ask, what are some overlooked movies? So I recently I started a series about a month and a half ago titled Movies That I Missed. And it's essentially just films of movies I didn't get a chance to see at the theater last year, 2019. I'm going to maybe switch it up, once I hit a certain point and maybe do films I missed in general, right? 2018, 2000, 1994 films, so things like that. But right now, it's just primarily films I missed from last year, and in that list of films so far that I've watched, there's been some really good movies. Like recently, I watched Loose, which I really enjoyed. Manos, which is a Spanish film, which is just one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. Waves, which I saw recently. Again, Calvin Harrison Jr. I mentioned it in my reviews in those shows and on that and on my written quick reviews on Instagram. Calvin Harrison Jr. is a fantastic actor, and I can't wait to see what he does in Euphoria season 2. The Art of Self-Defense with Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots. I love that film. Saw Villains that I didn't get a chance to see last year, which I like. The Nicolas Cage film, Outer Space, and then most recently, Little Woods with Nia DaCosta, who's going to be the director of the new Candyman film coming out in September, which I'm really looking forward to. But I want to see her first directorial debut, and I thought she did a good job. So check out that review for Little Woods and all those movies I just mentioned. Those are some films I think are overlooked, at least in the last year, that I just recently watched that I recommend you guys check out. So again, Loose, Waves, Manos, all these stuff is on Hulu, by the way, or most of them are on Hulu. Some of them I just personally own, like Waves isn't on Hulu, but I own that movie. But Loose is, Manos is, The Art of Self-Defense is, and those are some films that I recently watched. I think got overlooked, that didn't really get a lot of attention last year, that I recommend you guys check out. So, and then like I said, check out that series that I did. It's titled Movies That I Missed. It's a playlist on my YouTube channel. So Mo Wayman, my best friend Mo, has a couple questions for me. She has 5 questions, so I'm just gonna 6 questions. So I'm gonna answer her questions very quick. What's your favorite TV show of all time? Probably Breaking Bad. It's probably my favorite show of all time. Next to that is, minus the last season of Game of Thrones or the finale or whatever you want to call it. I still love Game of Thrones. Euphoria is, believe it or not, is up there. I don't know if this is technically a show, 2 shows. The Haunting on Hill House, and When They See Us. Ava DuVernay's When They See Us. What else? So those are some leftovers. I think I said Euphoria. Those are some The Office. Those are some movies. Those are some of my favorite shows of all time. Who is your favorite actor, actress? Favorite actor. That's a great question. That's a tough question. I don't know if I have a favorite actor. I love creators, so I don't know. Maybe because I've seen all his films: Will Smith, Denzel Washington, Leonardo DiCaprio, Daniel Day-Lewis. Those are some that come to mind. An actress, Kate Blanchett, Florence Pugh was fastly becoming one of my favorite actresses working. But Kate Blanchett, I love her. Lupita Nyong'o. These are just Emily Blunt. Viola Davis. Those are some that come to mind as far as actors and actresses. What else do we have here? What have you been doing during quarantine? I've been watching movies and shows and reviewing them on this channel, but also working my full-time job. It's not as busy as it would be if we weren't on these circumstances, but watching a lot of movies and shows to answer your question there, Mo. She also asks, where am I at? What's your favorite holiday? Christmas. I love Christmas. And Halloween, because I'm a big horror fan, so those two. Your favorite artist, favorite probably I'll just take it as movie or music artist. There's obviously I'm a big rap. I grew up and I still love rap. I don't listen to the newer rappers, but old, Jay-Z, Nas, newer school, I guess you can call it, Drake, Travis Scott, J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. Those are some people that come to mind. Those are my Eminem, one of my all-time favorite. But yeah, it's Jay-Z, Eminem, Pac, obviously. Like I said, kind of newer school, at least when I was in high school. J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar, Drake. I guess you can call Travis Scott. It's not really new, but I love Travis Scott. So those are some artists that I really love and I listen to on daily rotation. But also kind of venturing outside of maybe hip hop. I love Radiohead. I used to be a big fan growing up of the Gym Class Heroes and all those great people. So those are some people that come to mind too. And then her last question, Mo's question, was your favorite animated film? Spider-Verse, Incredibles 1 and 2, Toy Story trilogy. Those are some animated films that I really love. But yeah, thank you for bringing in those questions, Mo. Going back to the chat here. Let me see where I left off at. We talked about Insecure. We talked about CW. Would you like Henry Cavill back, Superman Connor? 1 million quadrillion bazillion % yes, my friend. Obviously, the news was kind of brought to the forefront and brought back in regards to Warner Brothers is talking to Henry Cavill about making cameos and maybe Shazam too and Black Adam and maybe the future Batman film. I was like, that doesn't make sense with it being maybe separate. But either way, I was excited. And then just the other day they said, no, that's not true. There's talks to be had, but nothing's been confirmed. So like I said kind of earlier, he's my favorite Superman. No disrespect to all the ones that came before him, all the ones that's been on animated shows and things of that nature, and obviously Christopher Reeves. But I don't know what it is, man. It's just like the portrayal of the Zack Snyder Man of Steel and what Henry Cavill did and the potentiality of what he can do. I know a lot of people want him to be the more, optimistic, happy, Superman, which we got a little bit of that and a very, Frankenstein of a movie in Justice League, but we saw what, a lighter version of him looks like. So I really would love to see him back in a role. Man of Steel 2, I would love to see him make those cameos. I think him versus Black Adam would be fantastic. Him, Shazam, Black Adam would be great crossover. Obviously seeing him in the Trinity with Batman and Wonder Woman and Justice League, obviously, but I want my Man of Steel 2. Yeah, I really want to see that. And give me Man of Steel 2. Give me him versus Brainiac. It would be the best superhero movie of all time. So I would love to see him back in the role, my friend. Do you watch Money Heist? No, I do not watch Money Heist. That is a show that actually Connor mentioned that I should check out because I didn't watch Money Heist, but I watched the creator, Alex Pena, I believe his last name is, but he did a show most recently on Netflix called White Lines, which I enjoyed for the most part. And I reviewed that on my channel here, but no, I'm going to have to give Money Heist a shot because I heard some really good things about that. I'm going to have to definitely check that out. So Jay Cooper, again, thank you for that donation earlier, Jay. I really appreciate it, man. They asked, I can't remember if you said it, the Shining Stream, but you have seen Train to Busan. Yes, when someone asked me earlier about my top 5 horror films, that was definitely in my top tier. I love Train to Busan. I saw it last year for the first time. I reviewed it, not on my channel, but again, I have an Instagram page. So sometimes when I don't review things on my channel, I'm most likely going to do a written review. So I did a written review for that. And Train to Busan is one of my favorite horror zombie films ever, and I can't wait. I did a trailer reaction for Train the Peninsula, which is a sequel coming out hopefully later this year. But yeah, I love Train to Busan, man. Freaking love that movie. If you guys haven't seen Train to Busan, it's incredible. Connor says you should cram. Yeah, I will, man. The Kingdom. I know you talked about that on Netflix. Is amazing, and I think. Oh, well, that person they said The Last Kingdom. Am I thinking of two different shows? Because someone had asked me earlier, Connor, have I seen The Last Kingdom? And I assumed that was that show, but maybe I'm thinking about two different things. But yeah, no, I know, Connor, I definitely gotta watch it, man. I've heard great things about it. Justin Hughes says, hey, bro. Hey, Justin, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by, my friend. I really appreciate it. Jay Cooper, I really like that you help out and recommend other channels. Yeah, man, that's what it's about, right? It's I'm trying to build a community on movie files, and I don't want this community to be about positivity, about whether we agree or disagree on movies and shows. I just want to have the conversations, right, and have productive and adult conversations about these things, regardless if we like them or not. It's just a matter of getting the word out there, whether it be the small independent shows and movies. So yeah, no, that's all it's about. And there are all these people, Connors, David, Hector Smash, Cinema, all these questions that I'm getting via Instagram, all the people that's in the chat, I know them on a first name basis. So that's what it's about, man. So, it's not about just supporting my channel. It's supporting everyone in the chat right now. If you all haven't already, check out these other content creators, Instagrams, Twitters, YouTubes, great content creators, great people. So no, it's an honor and a privilege to be friends with these people. And I would definitely recommend you guys to support them and check out their content. That's what it's all about. Daniel says, I would I would love a young and innocent James Bond who joined. Oh, that's Tom Holland. So who was that? Brandon from Brando Critic, another great YouTuber, great Instagram. I know he's a big James Bond person. And I know I had asked him on his live streams, like, would you like to see, because I know he's a James Bond fan. How would you like, what if they made a James Bond show about him becoming James Bond? And he I know as a James Bond fanatic that he said he wouldn't be really interested in that. He would just like to see the continuation of that. But I actually like that approach, Daniel. And as I asked him on his live stream, I would like to see a James Bond show touching on those very things that you just brought up. A young James Bond, his upbringing. You get a little bit of backstory with Daniel Craig's James Bond and Skyfall, his upbringing and his dad and all that stuff when they went to that house or whatever. But I would love to see them exploring that. That's fascinating to me, man. I think I would like to see more of a TV platform than like a movie, because I think the movie James Bonds have a formula that works for them. But I would love to see them do a TV show about James Bond. I think that would be fantastic. I don't know about Tom Holland. I love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I don't know. We'll see what he does with Nathan Drake, one of my favorite video games of all time, and Uncharted. But I like him as an actor. But that's a good question and idea. In regards to an innocent before he joined the agency, and see what his life was about. On like I said, I would like to see that in a form of a TV show more than a movie. Did you see Black AF? One of the few people who actually liked it. What were your thoughts? Fantastic question. I did not see Black AF. I watched like the first 15 minutes and I don't know. I got busy with something. I just didn't finish it. Didn't go back to it. Not that I heard bad. I didn't hear the best things about it. But again, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, I heard bad things, I'm not going to give it a shot. I just I watched the first 15 minutes. I didn't find it to be that funny, but I like Regina King. I like the creator of the show and the guy that stars in the show. I can't think of his name right now, but maybe I'll come back around to it and check it out. But I'm glad you liked it, man. I'm gonna have to definitely give it a shot and see what it's all about. Best musical is Newsy. I haven't seen that one, but I heard great things about that. Perk Minded. But as I had mentioned, La La Land was my favorite musical. I got to give love to Sing Street. I don't know if you guys ever seen Sing Street. I love that movie. And that's one of my favorite musicals as well. And there's obviously the classics, Singing in the Rain, La La La, all that jazz. But yeah, Newsies. I haven't seen that one, man. But yeah, La La Land and Sing Street are two of my favorite musicals of all time. Is YouTube more of a hobby or a job for you? So that's a great question, Robert. I would like it to be a full-time gig, if I'm being 100% honest with you, because I just have such a fun time growing up with movies and shows and talking about them. It's something I love to do, man. And in regards to what it's about now, it's just building. I just got 3,000 subscribers. I've been doing this for 2.5 years, since September 4th, 2017 to be exact. And I just want to see where this show goes, or this channel grow. I want to continue to see it grow, see where it goes. But the goal, the end game, if you want to call it that, is to be a full-time YouTuber. Because I think, and again, the the wonderful people I've been meeting on this platform, and I consider to be friends, Perk Minded, David, Connor, all these wonderful, Hector. I mean, all these people in the chat. Like I said, I pretty much know these people by first name basis. I would love to continue to make the channel grow and to make it a full-time gig. So right now it's kind of in between, because obviously, my channel got monetized in April, which is great. And, you can run ads and all that stuff and super chats and all that good stuff. But, for me, it's really just about growing this channel to a point where it's just like, I want to show people that there are great things out there, independent films, independent movies, having great conversations, likes, dislikes of certain things, great conversations, a great community, a positive community, a safe space for people to talk about things. So that's the goal, is to do this as a full-time gig, Robert. And, by the support of you guys, that's we can get there, one of these days. But yeah, have you thought of doing game review? So yeah, man, if I was a gamer back in the day, my friend, if I was gaming the way I used to, 2K, Madden, Uncharted, God of War, all those games I used to play back in the day, Call of Duty for sure, but I don't play games. I might get into it in the near future with, Last of Us 2 and obviously, PlayStation 5 and all that stuff, next generation. But yeah, I mean, I don't play games now, but who knows what the future holds. Again, this channel is just making its mark. So we'll see what the future holds, my friend. But going back to these questions that you guys sent me via Instagram here, we have the _movie_reviews, great content as well on Instagram. Definitely give them a follow. His question was, funny enough, this actually kind of goes hand in hand with the question Robert just asked. How are you planning on involving your YouTube channel in the next 12 months? What can we expect? So it's a great question. The movie ratings asked me on Instagram. It's a great question. The next year, so in the last 4 months, I've implemented some things I've been wanting to do for a while, which is live streams. I've been doing that in the form of watch-alongs, which I've been having a fantastic time doing. I mean, so many great conversations with these great content creators on Instagram and YouTube that I've had on my channel, and that's been one of the fun things I've done on this channel, is doing those watch-alongs. But I want to do more of these Q&As. I want to do more maybe movie news. This is something I've been talking about with David and talking about with Joe from Guy at the Movie and Brando, is I want to do more movie content in regards to movie news, TV news, because if you guys follow me on Instagram, I'll do like a main story. Oh, what do you guys think about the casting of Ryan Reynolds? Or I keep saying Ryan Reynolds, Ryan Gosling as the Watchman or the Wolfman. Or I'll make a post about, the new Charlize Theron, the Guard, the old Guard film coming on Netflix. This is, quick thoughts of what I'm excited for. But I want to maybe get on camera and talk about Henry Cavill coming back as Batman, the Snyder Cut. So that's something I'm going to probably start implementing more on this channel, is more live streams, whether it be via watch-alongs, live Q&As, live panel discussions about the movie news. That's something I want to do more and more. And then also in pertaining to movie reviews and TV reviews, doing some more, maybe, I don't want to say like movie, like film essays, which I think are really, really awesome. I don't know if I can do something like that. But definitely, like I said, more of the live streams and more interactive things like this, answering you guys' questions. And again, more movie news and TV news is something I'm thinking about how I want to do, because I just don't want to. There's so many great content creators out there that do a great job at doing movie news. Like I said, David from Flix Talks, Guy at the Movies, they're doing a lot of movie content news. And then obviously there's some other bigger channels that do movie news on a regular basis. SEN Live and all those guys over there, and people that talk about Star Wars and all that stuff, Dinner Geeks, all that stuff. All those content creators do a great job of doing so. So I want to find maybe a different route of how I want to tackle the movie news and a time of day and when and where and stuff like that. So that's something I want to do in the future. So, but great question. The film critic asks, best Toy Story film and why? Toy Story 2. And I just love the story. I love all the Toy Stories, but Toy Story 2 is my favorite one. I just love the story, the introduction of Jesse, and everything of that nature, and just the storyline there is my favorite one. It's the second Toy Story, so that's my favorite. Favorite movie so far this year. I think I answered that earlier. This is the this question comes from E124 @_movies. That's a great title. Or username, but they asked me favorite movie so far is Invisible Man. And on streaming, probably the platform as far as streaming goes. Bearded Film Reviews, give him a follow as well, guys. He has a great Instagram account for movie reviews, but his question was, he does a lot of support. He supports a lot of the live streams when we do watch along. So he asks, what are some of your favorite childhood movies? Jurassic Park, Toy Stories, Incredibles. I would say horror films, but those are not childhood, like I guess kid-friendly movies, but horror films. I used to watch, the Halloweens of the world, Screams, American Werewolf in London, things of that nature. So those are some films that I remember watching a lot as a kid. But Jurassic Park by far was like, excuse me, was on constant replay. So David from Flicksocks, he had a question for me. What was your first movie that made you fall in love with cinema? Probably Jurassic Park, if I'm being 100% honest with you. Steven Spielberg, seeing dinosaurs come to life per se on the big screen was fantastic. So Jurassic Park for sure for that question. Tahara reviews films, favorite directors of all time. Martin Scorsese, Stanley Kubrick. Those are some of the OGs. And then kind of transition a little bit more into, working directors: Christopher Nolan, Denis Villeneuve, Jennifer Kent, Jordan Peele. I know Jordan Peele is 2 films in, but I think he's fantastic. Yeah, those are some people that come to mind. Blu-ray collectors, what movie are you looking forward to post COVID? Dune in December. I cannot wait for Dune. And obviously, Tenet of the World, and as I had mentioned earlier, Quiet Place 2, Candyman, Black Widow, Wonder Woman 84, but Dune is my most anticipated film, and I hope that film sticks its release date in come December of this year. So back to the live chat. Let's see where we're at. Again, guys, we're almost 2 hours in. I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in and spending your Saturday afternoon with me. If you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and if you want to, you don't have to. I have super chats available, but I also have streamlabs.com/moviefiles, which if you want to, you can donate to the channel. But again, you don't have to. You can just give this video a thumbs up, and I would really appreciate that. Where were we at? We talked about game reviews, and then AW says, I like watching movies in the theater. Movies are supposed to be watched in a dark room full of strangers, but I don't think I will be comfortable at the theater until 2022. Wow. Will you head back? That's 2 years. That's a long time. But no, I understand your sense of I don't want to say fear, but your sense of want to be comfortable. So I completely understand that. But yeah, 2022, that's 2 years from now. But hopefully things will be better by then in regards to a vaccine and the stop of the virus and all that stuff, and obviously precautionary things being taken at restaurants and movie theaters that we're talking about now. So hopefully, by the end of this year, there's a more rules and precautions and things in place. But man, 2022, that's a long time. But I mean, you might not be too far off, my friend. Just hopefully, like I said, hopefully by the end of this year, we have better precautions in place. But yeah, I won't be heading to the theater anytime soon, but I'm hoping to head back by the end of the summer, end of August, early September, So Perk Minus says, do you watch who recently got canceled, but it's still worth checking? I don't even know what that is, man. To answer your question, no, I have not watched that show. I never even heard of it. I'm looking it up now just to see if maybe I saw like a poster of it or something. Yeah, man. And Perk with the great stuff. It's a drama. Reprise. Yeah, I don't know what this is about, man. Came out in December of 2019. No, I haven't seen it, Perk. But I like your taste in movies and shows. And it has a kid from Aladdin. Has one guy from some familiar faces. But no, I have to check it out, man. Definitely give it a shot. Jay Cooper, sorry I missed it, but when you talked about TOB, sorry my phone has been in and out. I'm glad you've seen it, and you're welcome for the donation. I really enjoyed your chat. Thank you so much. Thank you. I can't thank you enough for the donation, Jay. And I appreciate you stopping by and showing support to the channel and dropping in some great questions. I really thank you for that. And again, I thank you so much for that donation, my friend. Is GOT finale one which disappointed you the most? Like ever? To me, it's Lost. Man, not to be like this heady type of dude, but I don't really get things don't really like disappoint me as much as like a lot of when people see films that don't really live up to expectations, a la Star Wars, Marvel, DC, Game of Thrones. It's just like, it is what it is. I appreciated Game of Thrones for the 7+ seasons they gave us prior to the last season. And like I said earlier, there's some flaws in the season for sure. There's some character moments, stories that didn't end as well as I wanted it to. Obviously the story and who ended up on a throne, which I won't spoil that for those that might haven't seen Game of Thrones, who ended up on the throne. I wasn't expecting that person to be on the throne, but when it comes to disappointment, I mean, obviously I'm like, man, I wish things would have played out differently, but something that made me upset in the finale. That's a great question, man. I mean, again, I'm probably sounding hypocritical, but maybe Game of Thrones, just because I wanted things to play out a little bit differently for some of the characters and the storylines. A show that I was really, really into. I know a lot of people. I know you mentioned Lost, which I haven't seen, but I used to be a big fan of Dexter. I know a lot of people were disappointed by Dexter in that finale, but and I know some people, which I haven't seen this show either, Sopranos. But yeah, I'm probably, like I said, not to be hypocritical, just talking about all that stuff with Game of Thrones, but probably that's the only thing that comes to mind is probably Game of Thrones in regards to their finale, just because I want to see things kind of end a little bit differently. Ozark wasn't on my radar, but I definitely catch up. I'm hearing about it. Yeah, I can't recommend Ozark enough, my friend. 3 seasons in, the Bird family, Marty and Wendy Berg, Omar Navarro, the villain in the 3rd season, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a great show. I can't recommend it enough. You guys haven't seen Ozark. Jason Bateman has become, someone, people asked me about favorite directors and favorite actors earlier. Jason Bateman's slowly but surely getting in that list. He's a top tier performer for me. I think he's fantastic, and I love Ozark, guys. So yeah, if you haven't been watching Ozark, give it a shot. It's a fantastic series. It is, it's a bit of a little bit of homework. It's 10 episodes per season. So it's 30 episodes, 30 hours worth of content, but spread it out. Right. But definitely give it a shot. I love that show. Robert says favorite movie from the Batman trilogy. I would, Christopher Nolan. So that's the only one that has like a set trilogy of films, with the same actor. Dark Knight, but not too far behind that, Batman Begins, and then I love Batman Rises. So they're all like really, really close to each other. But Dark Knight, for me. Connor says, gotta head out. Keep it cool, mate. Congrats again. Hey, Connor, man, you keep it cool yourself, my friend. You be safe out there, man. And like I said, we gotta get you on the channel sometime soon, my friend. But thank you for stopping by, Connor. Be safe, and I appreciate you, my friend. So that was the last question in the comments or in the live chat. But let me go over. I think I have like a couple more pages of the questions you guys sent me via Instagram. So where did I stop off at? Mr. Death Breath, who was on my channel last week. He has a great YouTube channel, so definitely give him a subscription and follow him on Instagram. He does a lot of great content, interviews some directors and actors. He's a great guy too, a lot of great energy. He asked, how long have you been doing your YouTube channel? So actually, I've been doing it for almost 3 years. It will be 3 years officially September 4th of 2020. So I've been doing it for close to 3 years. So it has been a journey, a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but right now I am finding that kind of that groove, in regards to my content and what I want to bring to this channel. So, but yeah, going on 3 years, come September. David from Flicksock says, what was your first movie that made you fall? Oh, I think I answered that question. It was Jurassic Park. Favorite directors of all time. Yeah, we talked about that. Okay, in post so I answered those questions. So L movie reviews, they asked me, what is your favorite book to film adaptation? Man, I don't want to say, I want to make sure I say this right. I haven't read a book in a while, if I'm being honest with you guys, but I haven't really read a lot of books. The type of books I read are like self-motivation books and stuff like that. But I read the first Harry Potter. I read Lord of the Rings when I was younger. So probably Lord of the Rings comes to mind, but comic books count, right? I could do comic books. I love, some of the stories that we got in the comic realm, Watchmen, obviously the stuff from like Spider-Man, Jack Kirby and them. So yeah, those are some, but as far as like film, the book, probably Lord of the Rings, J.K. Tolkien's films, Lord of the Rings. So great question there. And then Rashida, who has another Instagram and also a YouTube, give her a follow. Rashida, we just came into contact about maybe a week and a half ago. She's checked out my Lovebirds review and she did a review, and I showed her some love and watched it and commented on her channel. So she has some great content, guys. So Rashida asks, "I'll be the what got you into doing movie reviews?" I think I talked about a little bit earlier. It's just I wanted to have my voice out there. I watch a lot of content, watch a lot of movies and shows. I just want to get my opinion out there, but also want to be, someone that someone can look up to in regards to like, hey, I like that show. Maybe I should get on camera or maybe write a YouTube or Instagram post about it and get their voice out there. So it's just a matter of just getting my opinion out there, but also motivating people to feel comfortable enough to put their opinion out there. And again, showing that, men, whether whether you're black, white, Puerto Rican, Asian, male, female, whatever the case may be, that everyone that, we all love the same thing. We all love the big action blockbusters, but, sometimes showing some appreciation, some love to the independent stuff and showing some love to the international stuff. So that's what really got me motivated. It was just to get my voice out there, my opinion out there, and hopefully motivate other people to do the same thing. So movie ratings countdown, their question was favorite Mexican film. So I don't know if this is maybe, a Mexican director or mostly a Mexican cast or whatever the case may be, but I guess just to kind of touch on all those things. Most recently, I think Coco. I love that film, one of my favorite animated films. I think most recently, films that were kind of created by Mexican creators are like The Platform, Manos. Most recently, I watched The White Lines, which took place in Spain. So yeah, those are some that come to mind. I hope that answers your question. In Black Reviews, this is a really great, some people I just got in contact with about a month ago. It's a husband and wife couple. They have an Instagram, they have a YouTube, really great content, really great conversation. So they sent me a question. What has driven your passion for movies? It's just a matter of, again, like I said a couple of times, it's just getting my voice out there, my opinion out there, letting people be aware of certain movies and shows, and they might not get the same press as the big blockbuster stuff. So it's just my passion just drives from, I love great stories. I love interesting stories, diverse stories, and creative things and make stuff that make you think. So I just love the medium. And then last question was thoughts on HBO Max, which I talked about earlier. I love it. Love HBO Max, and I'm excited for the future of that platform. And then I think this is the last set of questions that I had on my YouTube. This is actually from Connor as well. He congratulated me from the 3,000 subscribers, which thank you, Connor. He had a couple questions. One was, what film do you remember the most growing up and why? Jurassic Park. Love that film. Love seeing dinosaurs on the big screen for the first time. Love Steven Spielberg. Love the atmosphere and obviously the actors in the film, with everyone that played out in that movie. And I'm excited to see what they do with this Domain film and bring some of the OGs back from the classic film. But Jurassic Park for sure was my favorite film growing up, and Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and obviously Jeff Goldblum were just some fantastic characters, and I'm excited to see them turn back. But yeah, that was the most film I watched as a kid, and also like Toy Story and stuff like that. What would you consider going into? Oh, I'm sorry. Would you ever consider going into filmmaking, directing, etc.? I went to school for film and video back, I was in college, which seems like a decade ago. But it was almost a decade ago. But yeah, that was the plan, was to be something in film, whether it be editing, direct, and I've done everything. I've directed a film, I've written a film, produced a film, did audio for film. I did everything good and bad because that was the course. Like you had to do everything to get your degree. So I did everything. So that was the plan. But now what I like doing is just again share my opinion on these great content creators, their films, their TV shows. So, but that was a plan at one point. But that was many years ago. And then his last question from Connor was, if you can live anywhere else in the world, where would it be and why? That's a great question. Probably Spain, Paris. I just love their the way they kind of live life. Kind of, they love, embracing love. So yeah, probably somewhere overseas, or even in Canada. Canada seems pretty cool. Everyone I've met from Canada, from Instagram and YouTube, they seem like great people. And they have great healthcare. So Canada, maybe. So great questions, Connor. And then Mike asked me ranking all streaming services ranking for all streaming services out per May 30th. So I guess like all the streaming services that are available now up until this point. Netflix is still number one. I mean, bar none. I love Netflix. I don't see them being taken down anytime soon. I know it's early, but HBO Max. I love the original well, not the original content because they don't have that much out there. And I reviewed one of their original content. And it was okay, but I love HBO's extensive library so far. So I mean, they're, like I said, only 3 days out. That's my second favorite streaming service already, and I love the future of HBO Max. But Hulu probably my third. Disney Plus, or I'm sorry, no. I'm gonna go Apple TV. I love Apple TV. What they've given us so far, from Servant, C, most recently, Defending Jacob. I love Dickinson. The banker that was on that platform, and I believe Martin Scorsese. His films picked up. The new Martin Scorsese, Leo, and Robert De Niro film's going to be on that platform. So Apple TV's third for me, and then probably Hulu, and then Disney Plus. So yeah, those are my rankings there. And then we got some other people in the chat. And I'm going to probably, it's going on 2 hours. I'm probably head out here soon, guys. And if again, let me know in the comments, guys, if you like these live Q&A, ask me anything. I can do this maybe once a month or twice a month. I don't know. If you guys like this, let me know, and we can do more of these, because I love answering your questions, love having these conversations with you all, love seeing my friends, showing some love and support, and meeting some new people too, because I know there's probably some new people that never seen my channel before. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to Movie Files. This channel is all about movie reviews, TV reviews, live streams such as watch alongs, and just having some great time. So if you haven't already, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. But if you want to, you don't have to. You can do some donations to the channel via super chats, or if you want, there is streamlabs.com/moviefiles, so you can donate to. But you don't have to do that at all. You just give this video a thumbs up, and that means a lot to me. So Jay Cooper says, I got to go to work, but have a great night, and thanks for a great video. Thank you, Jay, again, for that donation. Thanks for the great questions. Have a great day at work. Be safe, and we'll see you soon, my friend. Not a question, just want to say I discovered your channel because of your Defending Jacob reviews, and I instantly got hooked. Keep up the great work. That means a lot to me, because, again, I make these videos to interact with you all, to talk about these shows, talk about these movies. Speaking of Defending Jacob, by the way, I don't know if you saw my most recent video, I had mentioned that I got 2 new videos coming out pretty soon. Well, one's a live stream and one's a video. So I recorded today a video for Defending Jacob, which is going to simply be talking about the differences between the book and the TV show, and how it ended, and which one I preferred. And also I want to know which one you guys prefer. So definitely check that out. That will be available tomorrow, which is Sunday. And then tomorrow as well, on Sunday, that evening, 5 p.m. Central Time, I'm going to be doing a live watch along for Defending Jacob. So, and for the finale. So for all those that have seen the finale, head over to my channel tomorrow, 5 p.m. sometime. I'm going to be watching and breaking it all down, talking about how it ended, what we think the ending means, who is the killer of Den. I'm going to be doing a watch along for that. So I'm glad you found that channel, or found my video for Defending Jacob, and I thank you so much for the support. But I hope you can tune in for that video I'm going to be making for the differences of the book and the series, but also that watch along. So I'm glad you were able to come across my channel, and welcome to Movie Files. Karen, she's another great supporter of this channel. She always has some great comments about mostly all my shows that I watch. So thank you so much, Karen, for stopping by. Hey, Elliot, I don't know if anyone asked already, but what was your favorite show as a kid? Power Rangers. I don't know why I even had to think about that. Power Rangers. I grew up a big Power Rangers fan. Used to be big into, not Pokemon. I used to watch Pokemon, but Digimon was my jam back in the day. And then I probably shouldn't have been watching it as young as I was, but Martin was definitely one of my favorite sitcoms growing up as a kid. And I mentioned earlier, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. But yeah, those are some shows that I really love. And the Nickelodeon stuff too. Doug, all that. Keenan and Kel, Nickelodeon was my jam too. So yeah, those are some that brings me back to my childhood. But thank you, Karen, for stopping by and asking that question. Great question. Going back down memory lane. Thank you, Elliot, for the answers and everything else in this. It's always great to hear you. Take care. Means 1 million. It means 1 million. I don't even know what that means. It means a lot to me that you were able to stop by and ask those questions and enjoy this. I hope you had a good time with this. So thank you so much. And again, let me know in the chat, guys, if you want more of these Q&A, ask me anything. I can do one once a month, twice a month. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I'm having a fun time though. So I'm glad you guys are having fun as well. Scott says, "Hey Elliot, any plans for another watch along?" So yes, Scott, I just mentioned, if you've been watching Defending Jacob, I'm going to be doing a watch along for the finale, like I did for Devs and I did for The Outsider. I'm going to do a live watch along. I'm going to be watching the episode, the finale with you all, and talking with you all in the chat. So we're going to break it down, discuss it, dissect it, talk about the ending, talk about who actually killed Ben. So that's going to be my next watch along. And then as far as like my movie watch alongs, I'm thinking about next Saturday, Friday or Saturday, maybe Hereditary, which will be celebrating its 2-year anniversary. And if you watch my Shining, we all talked about it on the Shining review or watch along about Hereditary. So that might be my next film watch along, either next Friday or Saturday, and watching Hereditary, which will be celebrating its 2-year anniversary. And then there's a lot of things coming out, or a lot of watch alongs I have planned for June and definitely for July. So yeah, so as far as TV go, tomorrow, Defending Jacob, watch along, 5 p.m. Central Time. Tune in if you've been watching the show, of course. And then next week, I'm going to probably do a watch along for Hereditary. That's what I'm thinking. It might change up, but that's the plan so far, Scott. And hope you can tune in, my friend. Daniel says, a film you think they should remake? That's a great question. Man, a film I think they should remake. Which, I mean, it already got announced, and I wasn't a big fan of the first one, but Hellraiser, which is going to be a TV show. I would like for them to remake that, but so they're going to be doing that. That's one that I don't know why that came to my mind. I'm not one of those people too that's like they should never. I think every film should get a remake just because things change, new content creators, different interpretations of the characters. So I think Hellraiser is only. I don't know why it's like the first thing that came to mind, and I'm not even a fan of that. Highly recommend The Boys. Yeah, I gotta get that Prime. I don't know why I don't have Prime. Like I have every other streaming services but Amazon, so I gotta check that out. Sending blessings your way. Enjoy your weekend. Yeah, you too, Robert, man. Thank you again for tuning in. Some great questions, some great conversations, Robert. I hope you stay safe and you have a great weekend as well, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Karen with the smiley face there. Scott says, I appreciate it. Keep up the great work. And that is it, guys. That is the last question, as I can see here. Again, this has been such a fun time. I'm going to have to do more of these, guys, even if you want it or not. I'm going to do more of these. I'm thinking about maybe once a month right now and see where we go from there. But wow, this has been fun. This has been really, really fun, guys. Man, I had a great time. The donations that came in, I can't thank you enough. Jay Cooper, Film Geeks, as well as Nancy Smith, man, you guys are fantastic. I can't thank you enough for those donations that you guys put on the channel, but also I thank everyone that had a comment, gave this video a thumbs up, that sent me, that was like 45 questions that you guys sent me via Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you so much for the support. It means the world to me that you guys like the content, that you're having a great time on my channel. It means a lot. So again, kind of wrapping up. If you haven't already, subscribed to this channel. Follow me, as you can see on the banner here. Follow me at Movie Files at Instagram. Follow me at Movie Files Live on Twitter, as well as on Facebook, Ladderbox, Stardust. I have all those things, so definitely check me out on those things. But definitely like to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. Those are mostly where I'm mostly active at. And then things to look forward to on my channel now. I have my review for Space Force on Netflix. I did my review for Defending Jacob on Friday. I have a video for Defending Jacob tomorrow morning for the differences between the book and the series, and I have a watch along tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. So for those that have watched Defending Jacob, we're gonna watch the finale together and break it all down. So definitely tune in for that. And then as far as the coming weeks, more Netflix reviews, my movie and TV bucket list for the 1st of June, and then, some more watch alongs and maybe more of these Q&As. So again, guys, you guys be safe out there. With COVID-19, the injustice right now with everything going on in America, it's a lot easier to love someone than it is to hate someone. So I'm spreading all the love to you all out there. Thank you for the continued support. 3,000 subscribers. I'm happy to see this channel grow, and I'm excited to see where this channel does grow into. But where we're at so far, I can't thank you enough for the support and the community that we'll be building. So thank you guys again. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you tomorrow for those watch alongs. And you guys